Hey everyone, welcome. Good afternoon, good morning. So yeah, I'm getting started here with part 4 of the series. So if you've been tuning in for the other ones, you kind of know where we left off for the most part. But I know there's also usually a lot of people who are new or who might not know what's going on at all. So yeah, if you're in the chat, just drop in and say hello. Let me know if my audio sounds alright. I also got a little notification in the first countdown that I had a connectivity issue, which I haven't had too much before. So let me know if there is something wrong with the quality at all, and I can try to figure that out. And yeah, because that wouldn't be too fun. But my name is Colby Kleitz, as you can tell from this label over here on my side. I'm a designer from Tampa, Florida, and yeah, my goal here is to design a booklet that works for a music festival. So just to kind of show you a little bit about this brand that I'm working with, let me actually bring over this little window over here, because I usually like to show where we kind of left off for the most part. Let me minimize something over here. So yeah, here's my Behance page we can easily get to from this video. But if you go right there, you can see I have Gasparilla Music Festival visual identity. So this was a project I did where I wanted to rebrand this festival and kind of add in a lot of assets that I liked, and just really kind of change the whole vibe of it. So it's a pirate-themed music festival, just keep that in mind. So I wanted something that was gritty and a little rough, which reflects kind of like Tampa, that cool side of it, but also works well, so it could be family-friendly, and yeah. So something we might dive into today if we finish the booklet early is creating more symbols. I had some great advice from someone in the chat, I think it was Tunk, yesterday, who was giving me some more advice about different music symbols I can combine. So to kind of keep going, you can see I have the challenge and solution broken down. We also have the logo system. So you can see I also have just a word mark I try to do as a lockup, as a badge, just different variations of the similar logo. That's kind of the goal here, is to have something really influenced by Alan Peters and have a whole system that works together. So I was talking about we may end up actually creating some more symbols today. Right now I have these two ones that are really strong, and the rest of them are kind of basic, to be honest. These two I really love because they combine stuff that's with fishermen and pirate symbolism with some music notes. So I think it brings the pirate side of the festival and combines it with the music side. We also break down the typography and the colors. And then right here, I went ahead and tested this before the stream. So whenever I do finish the book, I'm going to go ahead and drop it in here in this case study as a little flip book. So if you want to click on it now, you can see it, but I'm going to go ahead and replace that probably at the end of the stream with the version we finished. So that was the goal with what we're doing. So I can kind of fit it in here. I'm not sure with Flip Snack. This is my first time using that, but it seems to work pretty fine. And then I go into mock-ups of how I apply the brand across other aspects of the music festival. So you can see a billboard, wristband, lanyards, a poster, some social media graphics, the bag, and then a little while back I actually created the interactive prototype using Adobe XD. So you can see I have the mobile website right here, and then I also have the live stream videos of when I did that. So my goal is to, whenever I actually have the embedded flipbook in here, I'll probably have those videos, and I'll go and push these mockups even further. Which we're feeling up to today, I might go into Photoshop and or a Dimension, depending on what I'm thinking, and making a better mock-up of the actual cover of the book. So yeah, that is that. If you want to look into that, you can find that on my main Behance page, this project right here. So you can check that out, or you can go over to videos, and that's where we are right now. But then if you go a little further down, you can see the first 3 parts of the series, which I kind of wish I got to choose the thumbnails, because I could choose really cool ones. But stuff to keep in mind about these videos, the first one is when I'm really going into the mechanics of InDesign. So this is where I break down, how to set up master pages, page numbers, your grid system, a lot of those basic not basic, but a lot of those key things you really want to do when setting up a file. So that's for part 1. And then part 2 and part 3 is where I'm really going in and refining each of the pages. So we're in part 4 right now. So my goal for this is to actually go in and finalize all the pages in a good way, and then maybe go into Illustrator, create a couple more symbols, and then go into that other side I just showed, which is I think a Flip Snack or something, and create an embedded version and kind of finish up this as a full case study. So that is the goal. Let me just double check some stuff over here. Hey Tunk, it's good to see you. I'm pretty sure you're the one who were giving me some advice for the symbolism of what to use, if I'm not mistaken. So I was kind of just showing a second ago some of the other symbols I have, and I have some reference photos now for some of the rest notes you were talking about. So here's 2 of the older ones I did, and so later on in the stream, I think I might actually go and design some more symbols based off like the advice you gave me. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. And if anyone else is in the chat, drop in to say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from, or if you saw some of the other videos at all. So first thing I usually like to do after not looking at this for like a day since it was the last live stream is I really want to go in and kind of look at each page, go page by page and just see like what stands out to me now that I have like a fresh pair of eyes. Because we do go into like 22 different pages here, so I want to see what stands out. Then I'm going to fix those kind of quickly, and then we might go in like refining different assets. So if I go to Shift W, or I can go up here to View, Screen Mode, and go to Presentation. And this is where I can view it without the guides and just kind of see the zoomed in version. So we got the cover, then we got some of the inside pages. So the photos, I might clean those up as well. So this is where the poster would be used for like the artist, for like whoever the feature artist is for that year. And then we have all the text, we have the schedule, which I might refine. We have this, which I want to go back and add some more elements to. The kids zone, I do want to add this, pretty cool. Anytime, available for any support. Well, thank you, Tunk. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, that's great. And if you notice anything too while I'm going over this booklet, just let me know if you have any ideas. Because some of the stuff, like I might know what I want to do, and so we can just kind of figure it out together. Okay, and then I break down some of the food and drink. This feels awfully bland too. I think I need a better way to use photography. So when we look at these photos, they're just boxes and or like rectangles, and it could be nice if I had some type of frame or something to use. And there's a lot of different ways of doing that. One way, I don't know, yeah, so we can figure out a good framing system kind of use for the photos to better like incorporate them. One thing I really like is if you look at the Tampa Bay Bucks, the football team, one thing I learned from them is for like frames and borders, they use like a torn piece of paper, and like it gives that texture is like almost where like those divides are. So, and I've seen a lot of other people do that, so I don't want to do that exact same thing since this is also pirate themed and also in Tampa, just like the Bucks. But, a while back I had a similar idea where it was like using burnt paper as like, the texture, like the border that goes around the frame. So that could be fun to try to figure out how to do. So I might do that. Because yeah, just looking at the photos by themselves, they're just awfully plain. And then maybe I just need more types of colors to kind of like help divide up different sections. And then yeah, so I need more illustrations in here. So in the past years for this festival, they have, which actually I have the booklets right here. They do a pretty good job about that section, which yeah, we might want to make like a little stronger logo for that too. But for just a second, or in just a second, I can show you this. So let me switch over which monitor or which source I'm doing. So yeah, here's one of the past years where they talk about like the recycling. And one of the things I love that they do is they do the GMF, but they have like the little recycling arrows around it. So I think that's something we definitely do with like the flag GMF logo as well. But for this section, they have a lot of illustrations of like what you can and cannot recycle, just to make it as easy as possible. And this is one of their other booklets from the following year, and yeah, it's basically the same. And so maybe I can find some stock assets of those too, because I don't really want to have to sit here and and illustrate all these different food items if that's like the only time it'll ever be used. Oh, Tunk said something. You can add some vector shapes or canvas on photos. Actually, it might help to look more cohesive with your whole composition. Thank you. Yeah. Ooh, actually, I want to switch sources to this because I've done it before where I just forget to switch back. So let me reread that again so I can really comprehend what you're saying. You can add some vector shapes or canvas on photos. Actually, it might help to make it look cohesive with your whole composition. Okay, yeah. So adding like some like almost like vector shapes or like illustrations on top of the photography. And then by canvas, are you meaning like a canvas like texture over top of it? Because that does remind me on a lot of on like the app design and the other things I have here, I actually go in and add a texture over top of all of the screens. So let's experiment with that today too. And these logos, I just dropped them in boxes for now because I doubt anyone on the live stream wants to sit here and watch me kind of tweak these, shrink them down, and just don't know, it's just like tedious work to kind of make it work. But that is something that I like had to incorporate into this. And the last one is this back cover, which is pretty chill. So yeah, let me just save it right here for a second. So when I look at this again, I think this is like a little high. I'm gonna bring that down a little bit, maybe like there. But that's just something small. Let me go over here to my master page, which if you watched the first video, these master pages are the pages that affect like all these other pages over here. So like I have the background, like all these in the frames and the waves and stuff, they're all on this master page. Just so that way, like, and the page numbers as well. Just so whenever you go to any of these pages, they're all like in the exact same spot. Which is a quick note, I know I showed this a couple times, but like the way to make page numbers is to go into your master pages, like these ones up here in InDesign. Which, side note, I know I keep taking like little rabbit holes, but if you forget where I'm at all, or what program I'm using, look in the top left corner and you can see the InDesign icon. Because I may jump back and forth between Illustrator and InDesign, but I'll usually say it when I'm doing it. So yeah, these master pages up here that is in InDesign, that's where you can kind of mess with like the page numbers. So if you just create text, you know, like box, let's just, you know, make it like a number just for fun. You highlight it, right click it, then go to insert special character. You can go to markers and add the current page number. And when you do that, then it's going to get, see, it just turns into an A, but that means whatever page it's on over here, it's going to automatically update. So since this one's in a like kind of annoying spot, and if it stands out, you can kind of see how it affects these over here. So we go to these pages, and just the page number is now like in that top left corner for all those pages. So I'm going to delete that just because I already have the page numbers down here at the bottom. But I just wanted to show that really quick, because whenever I learned of that, that kind of just changed everything for me. So what I'm thinking is maybe I slap a texture over top of all of this, which I wonder what would be my best bet. I gotta remember which textures I used before, because it's been a little bit since I opened those files. And if anyone's just tuning in the chat, say hello. Let me know you're tuning in. And let me know if you have any questions too, if you're like, why are we looking at this dude's files, or who even is this person? So let me know. But actually I want to go in here. I'm going to drag this off to the side. Oh, I just found it anyways. Cool. Actually I should go to... Let me just see how this kind of looks. Let me kind of rotate it. So this was some homemade paper that I made a while back. And I always, like, I scanned it at a really high quality, and now I have it in my files. So it's been really fun just to kind of like try to incorporate into different projects whenever I need like a different texture to use that's like unique. Actually, I want to be like right there. Sorry, I'm just trying to line this up in a good way. A lot of times when I'm designing too, I'll just zoom in really close. But I realize in like a live stream, it's not as much fun because you can't really see anything. And even if I add that just like really low, so I'm going to the opacity of that, let's bring it down to like 10% or something. And then it adds like some little like smudges and shapes on that background. Yeah, on that background. Let's see kind of how it looks when it's like applied to some of these things. Actually, let me go into Shift W, which is going to be view, which is going to change this view mode. Which I like it because it already helps break up that orange, like that orangish background. And it's just like a little thing like that that just goes over top of it. I think can add a lot. And I may want to do it over top of some of these images too. So like those maps, like yeah. And one other thing before I forget. So I'm gonna go and copy that. And the thing is though, this the first page and the last page, I detached them from the master page. Or I did to where like it overrides master page elements. Oh, which is why it's not on that. I was just wondering why I was over there, but I think it's just doing that other side. So I'll do that, and then let me do one down here as well. Cool. Here we go. Let me just double check something over here. Let me know too if we run into any problems with the stream quality. I hope everything is looking good, but I know right when I started I got like a little error message, which I haven't had before. So yeah, if it looks like it's bad quality or the audio or I don't know, anything looks weird, just give me a heads up. Or if the audio levels are weird. If I don't hear anything though, I'm gonna assume it's good. So I hope that's the case. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go page by page now and just continue to work on this. And some of these will look pixelated. That's just the way InDesign works. You can usually go to display performance and crank it up to highest quality display, and it'll like fix that. When you export it, it will look good, but it just does that to save on like, you know, like speed for your program. Because a lot of times in InDesign, sometimes people will have like hundreds of pages that are just all in one document, so it doesn't want to use like the highest quality because it'll slow everything up. Oh, also with the music too, if you like the music that's going on in the background, you can go follow my buddy Seth Lynn down below. I have his information at the bottom of this video. But he's a great guy and I appreciate him, so I just try to give him a shout out every time I use it. So the thing is, whenever I'm like scrolling like this, then we lose the transparency for like a second, so it looks weird. But I promise you, that's what it actually looks like. That's usually why I wait to do the texture too, because then it does that. Tunk's saying stream quality is perfect for the moment. I'm checking some examples, by the way, to explain what I mean. Dope. No, I appreciate it. So thank you for letting me know with the stream quality, because that's always something that, like, you know, like it looks good on my end, but then like by the time it gets to people, you know, if I'm not sending out like really good quality, then like it'll be like terrible in their eyes. And I appreciate you looking up examples, by the way, of what you mean, because I'm curious, because that could be cool, because I do need to figure out something to do with that photography. So if you have a good idea, I'm down. I do kind of want to fix schedules, so I'm going to minimize this stuff and I'm going to open up Illustrator. So in here I got 3 main files open right now. Actually, I'll wait to just show you everything else. I'm only going to show you the schedule right now, and we can kind of play with this and make it work. Now I'm going to go open back up InDesign. I'm going to bounce back and forth for a little bit, because the thing that I don't really like is this orange when there's a lot of that. And maybe we get rid of this text right here, we put it down here at the bottom, because that's what we're kind of doing with a lot of these other ones. So I'm going to do that. And that way it's like very big and clear of like what day it is, you know, for like the festival. And what's nice, you know, since it's a local festival, there's not as many bands, so, and it's not as many days. So when you get into big ones like Bonnaroo, Coachella, like those ones that are multiple day festivals, then you have to have a really good system that's super clear of how to show everything. And if anyone's just getting here too, say hello. You know, we're all pretty chill here. You know, I'm just working on this project because I think it'd be dope to, you know, really make it as fleshed out as possible. I also got Tonkin here helping, which is awesome. Give me some dope advice yesterday for some more symbols. So we're probably gonna do that in a little bit. Because I think the advice you gave me actually led to like 2 different like cool ideas for symbols. So I'll show you what you know, with your advice when you're trying. I'll show you like what I kind of came up with, what I was thinking based off your advice. Cool. Let me give myself a little bit more space. So yeah, I'm gonna go and swap out those once I fix them, but I do like the text down there more. But that does make me think that this should be brought in. I'm selecting both of those, copying, and then go edit, paste in place, so they're over top of, you know, the other ones I just did. Let's go. I clicked on properties, but what I really want is CC libraries. Oh, Todd's saying, "What's up? It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in." Not much. You know, it's a Sunday, which is pretty nice, and making some progress on this booklet, which is dope. What are you up to? You know, you can let me know if you're, you know, used to using a lot of these programs, or if you're kind of new to it. What we're working on is a booklet for a music festival. So it's the Gasparilla Music Festival, and it's called like the Guide to the Festival, or Guide to the Fest, which is kind of like the title of the video, so you can see the connection there. But yeah, this is based on some branding that I did for a project a little while back, and you can find that on my Behance page. That's where it kind of breaks down, you know, everything to it. But yeah, we're really just working on refining this and finishing this today, hopefully. At least that's the goal. So let me know, Taj, if you have any advice or feedback or anything. And yeah, side note, I'm going to switch over to Illustrator again. So let me open that up. And let's make this a little better. So I'm thinking my best bet is I really separate these. Let me make sure I can. Yeah, so that was on an artboard. I just want to move that artboard off to the side, because I want to work on one of these rather than both of these, and then I can duplicate it and change anything I need to. Let's add some guidelines in here. Just kind of take my time and do it, you know, in a good way. I'm also gonna go and okay, everything's unlocked. I have like these lines right in here. And those ones I want to like bring them all the way to the front, so they're on top of each of those boxes, and it's consistent. Ooh. Okay. Did I? Oh, I think I did have them selected. So I'm gonna move those for a minute, just because I think they're messing me up. Make sure I got each of these lines selected by holding down Shift, and then go Object, Arrange, and let's bring that to front. Let's also bring up the opacity. I think that's also what's happening is the it's like blending with that bluish like shape or that color. And then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bring these guidelines back in. I'll be excited when I can actually go to a festival again. That'll be a fun day. I'm sure it'll be a wild festival too, to be honest. Which, speaking of festivals, which I guess, I don't know if that really counts. I don't know. My brain just wanders off sometimes. But what I was going to say was, yesterday after the stream I had some fun, and I started like tie-dyeing this shirt, except I did it with bleach, which is like crazy to think about. But you can see this Adobe shirt, it was just solid black. And then I, you know, tie-dyed it with some bleach, and yeah, I just had some fun. So I did that with a couple other shirts too. And what I'm thinking about doing is, now that it's bleached, I can actually go into those spots that like lost the color, and then go and like add tie-dye to it, which would be really cool, and add some like other colors in the bleached spots. So yeah, that's a little different, like the creative side, but I still think it's fun. Oh, and Jack's, oh, and Fleeson saying, so cool, thank you very much. And Jack's just showing too, finally made it, was having some trouble with Chrome and Behance this morning. Well, that's no fun. See, I always use Chrome too, so I'm curious, you know, if it was, I don't know, I'm curious like what it was. That's interesting. Yeah, I was on Behance, yeah, with Chrome this morning too. I wasn't running any issues, so it might have been something, yeah, that you're struggling with. But it's good to see you, Jack. As you probably know, and for Felicia and other people who's just joining, we are on the final part of designing this booklet, you know, in InDesign with Adobe Illustrator. And so we're making some good progress. We got some good pages done. So I was going to give a quick glimpse of this. One of the things when I looked at it again today, I realized is I need to figure out a better way to frame this photography. And I know Tunk was looking up some examples or had some ideas, so we'll kind of see if he has anything. But yeah, I want to explore a better way to fit the photography into this design. I'm scrolling, so I'm redoing these schedules right now. I'm about to place some new ones in there. Add some more spice to the map. Make the kids zone much more fun. Yeah, fix that photography. Like have like a better way to frame it in there. And do the illustrations, or find some illustrations to use for the recycling. And I have all the sponsor logos, but I'm not about to resize those because that's kind of boring. Oh, and Placian saying thanks for the recap. Yeah, no worries. And yeah, I also may go in and I was telling Tunk a minute ago and make some. Oh, I've already sent a DM on Discord. Dope. So I'll check that out as soon as I get a second. So let me bring up some stuff for just a moment. Just want to double check. No clue. Cleared my cache and it didn't fix it, so I cleared my cache for all time, and that seemed to fix it. That's really weird. I don't know why it would do that too. But I'm glad you figured it out though, because that would. Yeah, because with everything you do too, that'd be so difficult to not be able to pull up Behance or it not to work. That'd be crazy. So yeah, sorry everyone, I'm just looking at this monitor over here for just a moment. So I'm about to bring up a case study right up here that Tunk shared. And yeah, so let's look at it together here for a moment. I'm just going to go and like it. And so to give a little bit of context, he was saying you can add some vector shapes or canvas on photos, actually. It might help to look more cohesive with your whole composition. Yeah, and the last thing he was saying, he was checking examples to share with us. So let's kind of see, you know, from this, if this gives us any inspiration. Which actually, I'm going to go ahead and save this to a mood board. So if anyone else wants to find it, I have a mood board for Music Festival brand identities, like on my Behance page. So I think this is really cool. They have like that little framing element. And, ooh, yeah, that realistic photography with stuff overlapping it. Okay, I see what you mean by incorporating vector shapes. Because I love that this is realistic and like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's real and it was like cropped out. Yeah, because I feel like I can see the lines around that. But the fact that they have stuff that overlaps it, I think is really cool. I appreciate you sharing this with me too. It was interesting. And what's, oh, I love it too, how they just have little tiny shapes just randomly on the side. It really helps bring like the whole brand identity together. But this too, even this would make like an awesome sticker or something. Yeah, you have the drop shadow, so it's like clear, it's like a separate poster. The way they fit the typography in the shapes too. I always love when stuff does that and it kind of overlaps. Yeah, this is really interesting. And oh yeah, and to have like almost like a billboard or like a banner for like a social media site like this, this would be really engaging. And it's not that hard to make too. Once you have the assets and you kind of have them cut out, then it's just like rotating, changing colors. Like this is probably all like the same hot air balloon, but like with colors changed and like rotated different directions. Wow. Oh, and then with 3D installations too. And I'm sorry with everyone just tuning in too. This is really cool to be able to see. This was what Tunk, you know, in the chat shared with me of a cool like inspiration to kind of work with. But definitely go and follow the artists who are doing that because this is really impressive. And then be able to see how you incorporate it into a physical environment. Yeah, Tunk, I really appreciate you sharing this with me because I looked up other festivals, but like they do a great job here laying everything out. And I can definitely just imagine people sitting all over those like 3D letters too. Because there's a festival I go to, Halloween, where they do like the same thing, or something similar, where they have giant 3D shapes that people always take photos on. And yeah, there's so much detail in this too. On a 3D like render of it. Oh, this is all 3D modeled, is it? That's crazy. Because I thought, yeah, it was just like photos set up ahead of time. But yeah, these are all 3D models. Wow. Yeah, that is so cool. And then photos from like people at the actual event in a video, which I'm not about to play the video now, but I'll definitely look at that a little later. And so yeah, here's the artists who are the ones doing that. But thank you, Tunk. That's really cool to see. Interesting. So sorry for anyone who's more here to see me design a booklet, but you know, you gotta look at some of those other inspirational pieces to do that. Huh. Yeah, that's really cool. So now I'm trying to imagine how I incorporate that into my style as well. Felician saying, this is a really great job. I work as visual merchandiser, and this is the kind of stuff I love to watch for inspiration. And Tony's saying, I think it's made with SketchUp. So yeah, that's really cool, guys. Yeah, that's wow. Okay, see, my brain is just racing right now too, because I'm thinking about then with this photography, because this is photography I took too, which is awesome. So actually, let's bring up some of the photos that I have in here to kind of play with. Actually, let me maybe bring up Lightroom. See, like what the best way to do is kind of preview these. Which I guess today we're going to bounce around between a lot of different programs, because that's what kind of happens, you know, when you're getting towards the tail end of this, like whole booklet. You start figuring out how you can utilize other softwares to help show it. Which maybe I shouldn't open up Lightroom. Maybe that's going way too deep in these things. Cool. So I can flip through these. These are the unedited ones, but I just want to kind of like fly through them really fast to see what photos will work. See, my goal is to kind of make a mock-up from like one of these photos, so you can kind of see the welcome booklet. Because this is a photo I took. I can edit the wristband and then do the stage design behind it. That's a little outside my element in Photoshop, so I'd be nervous to kind of do that on a stream. Oh, what are you making the booklet for? Yeah, no, thank you for the question, Taj. Let me show you in just a second. Here's also how they did the recycling, so that's something else I want to keep in mind. But the booklet is for... Let me find it. If you jump over to my Behance page, then and go into work. Yeah, so Taj, if you jump over to my Behance, sorry, it's like loading for a second. Hope my Wi-Fi's good. Let me know if the connection does drop, because that was weird. It took a minute to load. Because usually when I'm plugged in with like an Ethernet cable, it goes like super speed. Yeah, so it's a visual identity system I created for this music festival. So Taj, yeah, this is where I break down the symbols I try to use. So I can maybe incorporate these symbols and like patterns on the photography somehow, or use the waves to actually break up the bottom of the photos. Which that may be something I have to dive into a different time, because that's gonna change a lot of stuff. But it's a really great idea. But yeah, if you just want to, here's like a lot of the other ways I apply that brand, but it's for a music festival. You have the interactive prototype for the website. So yeah, you can find that over on my Behance page. That's where I kind of show the visual identity for this. But let me just minimize this and kind of go back to designing. So that's what the booklet we're working on is for. It's like it's a piece of that festival. So we go file place, and we'll drop in that newer one that I did. So then I have schedule, which it was hard to see the change, right? Which it didn't change. Let me try it again. Oh, how cool! Oh yeah, thank you, Taj. Yeah, no, this is one I've been working on for a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. Which I thought that was it. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I didn't export it yet. So let me minimize this, and I'm going back into Illustrator, which you're gonna see me jump around like a lot. So this, it's on artboard number 1. I just want to export this. And I guess that's not it because that has that date in that corner. So we use artboard and let's go artboard 1. Oh, it's because the range was set on artboard 2, so it exported the other one in this file, and rather than that one. So that was a problem, but quick fix. Because it was exporting this one over here. You know what, there's a nice little space right there. Maybe I add in something, like a different element just for fun. And if anyone's just tuning in too, don't be afraid to ask any questions or, you know, provide any feedback or anything, because I'm down for whatever. Which, if you guys have an opinion right now, because I don't know, I could maybe use like this one, which I'm going to end up changing this logo eventually, because that capital G, you know, is like too reserved. Or I could use like this little version that's like a cannonball, which I'm kind of leaning towards. I'm going to use the cannonball, unless you guys are like, no, use the other version. But you can let me know. Because I love being able to combine multiple elements and just like work on that pirate symbolism, you know, also use like the logo system. So whenever I came up with this mark for like the cannonball, I was like, oh, that's dope. And I think we're going to work into more symbols again today. Because with that, a lot of it is just having coming up with the idea. Then the execution of it, I don't think is as difficult, at least for me. Because it's like, if I can come up with the idea, then I can just figure out exactly how I want to do that idea. And to be honest, most of the time, oh, and Taj saying he prefers the cannonball. Cool. Yeah, me too. Yeah, so let's go ahead and re-export that again with the cannonball on it. Oh, Felicity saying same. Dope. Okay. Cool. So we're on the right track then. Thank you, people. I appreciate it. Let me kind of close some of that photography. Let me open back up InDesign. Which again, if you get lost and you're like, what is he doing? He's closing and opening windows a ton of times. Just always check this top left corner just to see what program I'm in. Because if we're feeling wild, we may end up going into Photoshop or XD or who knows. Sweet. So let me do that as well to this one. And that was one, the most recent one. Which I still don't like that orange color. So I'm just going to save it, just because I have a habit of saving like a million times. But I'm going to jump back into Illustrator, and then I'm going to change this color. And I'm thinking maybe like a white, a transparent white or something. Or like some type of gray. I don't know. That color just really stands out too much to me. Because I'm using that color for like the drop shadow of this. But yeah, let's go back into Illustrator so you can check that corner and see what I'm in. Let's just play around for a second and see what works. What's nice is too, since I'm using my CC libraries, all of like when I go into Illustrator and InDesign, I'm looking at like this assets panel, you know, on both of them, so I can easily make sure that all the colors I'm using are consistent and yeah. So even that color feels very intense. I'm just gonna keep exporting and dropping in there and just kind of seeing, you know, what I like and what I don't like. And if maybe some of these will work out, but I don't think that one is the right one. But I just kind of want to see it like in context. So place, and I'll look for this one I just exported. Let me try having like a white that's like maybe 50% transparent. Oh, so you can carry over things that you use in Illustrator. Oh yeah, Taj, definitely. What's great about a lot of the Adobe products is they speak very well together, you know, because a lot of times you can even just copy and paste stuff from Illustrator and go paste it directly into InDesign, or use the libraries over here. So right now I'm in Illustrator. You can see I have the CC libraries open with all these colors and assets. I can do the same over here, and it's just the same library. So if I save anything from Illustrator it just populates here. And you'll see that whenever I make the symbols in just a minute. So yeah, let's just decide on a color then. Which means I need to change this. And then that way we can kind of jump into, you know, designing some cool stuff. So let's just see this. And let's change this, go to properties, change the opacity. Let's just go down to 50% and just see what works here. Let's export. So it will still be, oh, and the Tunks BRB, I'm cooking something, no worries. And we got a little bit until I was going to jump into designing the symbols anyways. So that's probably your best bet, is to make that right now. Tom's just asking what you're cooking though, Tom, if you're still there. You know, make sure you have enough for the whole class. But yeah, Tom's saying, so will still be vector, and yes, I'm pretty sure. So having the, yeah, let me just drop this red one in over here. So having it white definitely does give it more like a friendly and like, you know, playful, like inviting vibe. This red color is almost too intense, but there's got to be somewhere in the middle ground. Maybe it's just blue. I'm already using that blue a lot. Or it's this gray. Let's try that gray. So I'm back in Illustrator. Which, let me remember what this is. So those are just white with different levels of opacity, I think. Oh, no, it's not. It's this gray. So I'm just going to copy that. Or actually, I can do this and then click I for the eyedropper tool. And then let's just click on that square. Cool. So that might be your best bet, because then it's consistent with something else in here. Let me just keep doing this. And I make sure I have the schedule in like its own unique file. Because a lot of times I end up just, you know, exporting different iterations of this. And it's honestly probably the best bet. Because then if I get way too off track and I'm like, this is looking terrible, then I can usually take a few steps back and then, yeah. So back in InDesign again, if you get confused, you know, look at the icon in the top left. I'm going to go File, Place. And let's drop in that exported one over top of this and see if that's better. Which I think that is better because it's a little more muted and less intense. So let's do that. I don't really want to fill out the bands and when they're actually playing because I don't really know. You know, and so that's something that even at a festival would change a lot. But yeah, I already like that grayer a lot better. And the bomb in the corner I think is cooler because then I can have the dates down here. Cool. So let me see what else I can kind of play with. This one. So when I was looking at it a little bit ago, I had an idea. Because one of the assets I created and I'm using on somewhere else in the branding is this, where I have the year 2021, but I incorporate the cannonball, you know, in it. But then I was thinking, I'm like, this is such a, sorry, I'm trying to talk in design. Let me go transform scale. Let me just bring it down to like 40%. I thought this was a really cool element, and I don't use it a ton. Like, I haven't used it yet in this booklet, so I figured this could be cool to, you know, incorporate this somehow. So I'm just gonna play with it for a second and just see if anything works. Let's bring it down like 60% of that. Which, since I say 2021 right here, maybe I should just delete the 2021 and just say festival map. And then just incorporate the 2021 somewhere else. Which, I want to make sure it's in the same spot as these. So I'm going to go and copy that. Go back to this spread, go edit, and then paste in place. And now I'm going to type over top of that, just so I know it's in the exact same spot. So when they flip through the book, you know, there's no consistencies. And Tunk's making up Hans boiled, oh, that's his last name, boiled potatoes, and I'll make a potato salad. Sounds good. Let's go, I copied it, let's go edit, paste in place, so the other version's over top of it. Click that color, click this, use a bracket to send it behind it, and then I'll use arrows to go up and over just slightly. Just give it that little effect right there, and then I'll go object and then group, which I need to do with these as well. So make sure I only have those, and I'm just grouping those together, just so I don't accidentally do stuff like that, where I shift the wrong thing. It's cool. Yeah. Let's figure out how to use the 2021. Maybe it's over here, because there's a lot of space. But I don't want to block that page number too. And maybe the 2021's over here, and the festival, the word festival map is over here. And a lot of this too, I don't really know where I'm going with it, but we can just see what works. Let me bring it down a little bit. I want to go maybe 80% of this. But I did kind of like the idea of this being huge, so there's a big contrast in the scale. Yeah, so let me bring this back over to this side. And, so I totally can play with the location of this map. It's just something to keep in mind. I was wanting to make sure that the crease where the page is, right here, doesn't go over any text. Because I think it's, when I actually look at the ones that are physically printed, the text that's close to that line still is perfectly legible. How did you make the 2021 thing? Yeah, good question. Yeah, so let me dive this in here. I'll just leave that right there for now, which honestly I kind of think works. So that's kind of funny. I'm going to save this. So I did it in Adobe Illustrator, Taj. So let me know too if you're following along. So one of the big files I have is this one that's just GMF_logo. So I'm going to zoom out a lot here. And you can see my files are super messy. Ooh, and Felician's making a Biscoff tiramisu. Awesome, man. You guys are making some good stuff. Dang. So yeah, this is how I made the 2021. I usually have one big Illustrator file where I just start playing around with stuff. And you can kind of see I have different iterations and I refine it as I go. But yeah, to do that, well, first I made the little cannonball. Well, I guess before I made the cannonball, I made the GMF text. So yeah, because there's a lot of different elements over top of that are kind of stacking. So let's talk about some of the symbols I'm incorporating, because this could be a good segue into that. So you can see these files are really rough. First, I started out just by drawing the word GMF like a billion times with the flags and just kind of seeing which one stood out to me the most. Tal's just saying he loves tiramisu. Nice. So yeah, once I kind of had a GMF that I like, which I'm still going to go back and change, because I got a lot of feedback on this that it's not like gritty and like, you know, it's not there yet. So I had that lock up. Then I created a little bomb, literally just by like a circle, and maybe like the pen tool, I think. And you do that, and then increase the thickness of that. Let me swap these. You kind of do that, and then it's like, oh yeah, let me do this pen tool like a bunch of times, copy paste it, rotate it, duplicate it, and you kind of do that a bunch of times until you kind of get like a little bomb that you like. And then, so I can just copy that version over. I just kind of drop down top. Oop. Let me try that again. Kind of did that. And then I go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. So it's on top of that. And then I just went to the text. Which is weird. Is the text just small? Let me delete that for a second. Then I went to text. Let's type in 2021. Now I can just scale it up. I want to use the typeface that I'm using for everything else. Oh, Brown's asking, hi, how are you? Good, how are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I think you were here yesterday as well, so that's dope. Thanks for coming back. We're kind of diving a little bit more into the symbols that I'm kind of using for the festival as well. So, the big thing is to use consistent typeface across it all. So I'm using Trade Gothic LT Pro. And what's nice is it's like a huge family. When I was looking at this, something you want to keep in mind is this is like this little cannonball. It's like really big and round, and there's not a lot of negative space inside of it. So I figured, like a heavy typeface would make the most sense, because this already felt like kind of heavy. Let me just group this, which that's like a rough version of this, but let me just bring that down anyways and delete that. So once I spend a little more time refining it, and using the Pathfinder to punch out the letters, eventually I would get something like this. And what I wanted to make sure was that it's like the same size as this O. So then I just kind of scale it down to where it kind of matches. Oh no, I went behind it. So yeah, that's roughly where I'd want it. Let me go, and once I have this text selected, you just want to go to Object, Expand the Text. And yeah, let me just bring it over a little bit. And then you can go Object, Ungroup. And then that will allow you to select these individually. And then what I want to do is make sure that this is kind of where I want it, which I think right now it's still a little bit bigger. So let me go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, and scale it down just slightly. And let me bring it back up to where it is. And I'll go Object, Arrange, and then Send to Back. That'll allow me to select that O that's on top of there. And yeah, and then it was just like playing with some of the spacing. And you can see once you have the idea and like then figuring out how to do it isn't too hard, because you can find tons of videos and everything. But that's how I made the 2021, which was Taj's question. Yeah. And Ahmad saying thank you. Yeah. No worries. Yeah, no, it's good to see a lot of people returning too. Yeah, let me know if you watched some of the other videos, but I know a lot of y'all did. I think Barun, Tonk, you've been in the past, so that's really cool. So, yeah, that's how I made the 2021, so that was one of the questions I had. So jumping back into InDesign, which you can see the icon up here in case you get lost, what we were doing was playing with how to incorporate this 2021, you know, into the map, into the page that has the festival map, which right there actually kind of worked too. So, I think that kind of worked. And what I'm going to do is, since I already have this over here, I'm going to go and delete this. Because if the spacing is a little different on those, I don't want to accidentally use that version compared to this. So that way there's like inconsistent ones all over. And these blank ones are actually ones that have like white text on them. So you can see whenever I actually create an asset I like, I put it on its own artboard, and I make a black version and a white version. And I make sure that like with ones like these that actually punch out the inside of the cannonball. So it's not like white on there, it's like negative space. So that way it can, when you go into stuff like this, that ends up being orange rather than like black or whatever color you're using. But yeah, this feels small, but maybe it's consistent with the other ones. Well, no, this one's big. Let me make this a little bigger. So I'm just zooming in here. And if you're looking at the map too, you can see one of the videos, I think it was part 2, is where we really dove in and did a lot of designing for that. So that was a lot of fun. Oh, but see, I gotta keep doing the stuff that I'm saying I'm doing, where I copy it from this and then paste it into this. So that way it's in the exact same like spot. And then I'm zoomed in, go to Object, Ungroup them, delete the top layer. Let's bring this up and over slightly. Let's actually change the color of that stroke. Let me change that to white. Let me just type in festival map. Now let's just make this bigger. Oh, and Todd's saying, oh, thanks. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just a little bit too. I want to go in and make some new symbols, but I figure I kind of want to do a lot of this first and just kind of tidy up anything on here. Let me just shift that, and then let's just select them and go Object, Group. Cool. I think having that a little bigger would be nice. Yeah, let me just file and save it, and then let me check on the quality of the stream over here on the side. Whoop. Let me bring that over. I just want to make sure we're good. Oh, and Taj, let me get that in just a second. Taj saying, by the way, have you tried using Canva before? Because it has all the features you seem to use. Yeah, so Canva is great. Adobe Spark is also a similar version of that. And there's a lot of stuff where you can kind of put in your brand assets and make quick graphics based off like templates. So yeah, this past year I've been designing like event graphics for my current job, where I work remote now because of everything, but there's not really events, so I'm doing different stuff kind of. But when we had event graphics, we'd have to do stuff for social media, for like, yeah, all the different social media platforms, a physical poster, we'd have to do TV monitors, and lots of variations of the similar design. So Canva is really cool because yeah, you can tell it the preset stuff. Because you can tell it like what you're trying to do, and it'll resize it automatically for you. But a lot of those graphics are actually designed in XD, which is kind of weird, but it has responsive resize, which was really made everything nice. But the reason why I bring that up is because now my job is switching over to use Canva, so that way they don't have to have a graphic designer with the Adobe suite to be able to make the event graphics, and that way anyone can edit them easily. Felician's asking, can you do vectors on Canva? I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. Well, they might have like some vector graphics. I don't think you can create your own vectors. You know, I don't know, to be honest. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, let me keep scrolling through this while I think of if there's, you know, other edits I want to do before I jump back into Illustrator. And I'm gonna ignore that page because that's all the sponsored logos, and that's just a nightmare. And that's not fun. That's just slightly rearranging everything. Yeah, so let me just bring up to the top, and then yeah, let's open Illustrator. So I'm closing, or not closing, I'm minimizing InDesign. And yeah, Illustrator, you can see the icon up here. So I think some of the symbols, which I think Tunk might still be eating or cooking or something, but he was in a video yesterday and he gave me actually some great advice. Because I was looking for more symbols, which, actually no, I can do it through this. Well, that doesn't look very good. Let me do this and then click here. Let me kind of bring this up over here. I keep showing this a lot, but it's always good just because it kind of works as like a style guide. So this is like the case study I have right now for like the visual identity for the festival that we're working on right now. Which everything is going slow. I hope my stream quality is good because like these pages are taking a minute. So yeah, some of the symbols I'm trying to do is incorporate stuff that has like music notes, like a treble clef and like that note, which I think might be a quarter note, with you know, like a hook and a flag. It's just so that way it takes like the symbols, you know, just a step higher. And right now, so these are the two that I really love because like they have those extra elements to it. But when you start to look at the other ones in here, I just have like a little steering wheel, a bottle. Those are just like, they have nothing like extra to them. So that's why I want to actually go in and refine them and make like more symbols and like push that idea further. I think the cannonball works well because I'm including like the GMF with that. So I think that one's kind of strong too. Taj is saying, you know, oh, it's the last name. They have vectors built into the so he's talking about Canva, and they have vectors built into the service. They have like everything you need, but I don't think you can upload them. Okay, yeah, that's good to know. Which I would still recommend looking at Adobe Spark because I think it's very similar to Canva. Plus, if you use any of these other Adobe programs, like I am pretty confident that you can just import stuff in there pretty easy. So yeah, this is the rest of that case study. And this is like some of the symbols we're trying to push even further. So let me minimize this and go back here. So in reality, this is what that file looks like. It doesn't look like a treble clef plus a hook, you know, equals the school illustration. It ends up being like really rough, and yeah, until I kind of get the versions I want and then separate them. Oh, and Felician's saying, oh yes, the illustrations, but you can't make one yourself, I think. So yeah, about Canvas, or Canva. Is it Canva? Yeah, it's Canva. So yeah, some of the advice he gave me was to look up rest notes. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a smart idea. So I did that. And the first thing that stood out to me was this quarter rest. This one right here, because I'm like, oh, I could totally see that being manipulated into like a pirate's sword. You know? Because like the way schools right here having like the strong hilt. So I found some photo references of that as well. So of like, you know, other swords that could, you know, have that same like squiggly type effect thing. And if anyone has any other ideas for symbols or something, please let me know. Because like the further I can push this and like have symbols kind of combined to be something new, like the cooler it's going to be in the long run. But yeah, you can kind of see the way this squiggles reminds me of like the blade. You know, some of these ones that are a little like crazier. And then this right here almost does look like the hilt. How it bends around. So I figured there's a lot of opportunity to play with that. Let me just swap some of these really fast. Kind of make them all kind of facing the same way for the most part. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking for, you know, a new symbol. Could be that quarter rest Yeah, it's a quarter rest, combining with a sword. Right, Tosh? I thought that was a great idea. Yeah, so this is totally Tunk. You can find in the chat. It was giving me advice to look up rest notes, because I was really trying to think how else to do this. So if you see his name up above, give him a follow and be like, yeah, or tag him and be like, yeah, that's a dope idea. Which I think he's the one who's making a potato salad right now. So he'll probably come back in just a little bit. The other one was like this, which I always remember from like music classes back in the day. It's like, oh yeah, it does look like a hat. So then what if I make that into a pirate hat? You know, sometimes they have little... Let me zoom in here a little bit. They have, yeah, here's like the, what is it? The half rest, which, you know, looks like a little hat. And then it's like, I could add like a little, like, crossbones on it. Or a lot of times people will just have a feather. So I think maybe even just having the way this, half rest looks and combining it with just like a feather sticking out of the top would be dope. That 8 rest would be an axe. Oh yeah, that totally could be an axe. Huh. Yeah, thank you, Taj. That's a cool one, too. Sorry, I'm writing this down over on the side. Because a lot of things, like, I'll notice it while I'm streaming, and then at the end, I just want to make sure I remember. An axe. Yeah, that could be cool. It'd have to take a little bit of manipulating, and I wonder if other people would recognize it. But then again, it may not fully matter if it's recognizable right off the bat, because in the case study, I can break down, you know, what symbols I made to create the new symbol, and I think even just showing that it was made from something real is like, yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, if there's any other music notes or like stuff along that similar vein, let me know. Because yeah, if I can combine it with like sailors or pirates or even Tampa, they have a lot of symbolism there with like cigars, being like Cigar City and stuff like that. So I think the challenge right now is to figure out how to do this. So I think I'm going to work on the easier one first, because this one seems like it would be much easier. And then once I kind of get warmed up, then we can dive into the squiggly line sword. And it's as easy as making shapes. Yeah, so let me just do that. So I got these shapes made. I'm just going to drag them both over here. Looks like will be in a second. Let me make sure I've got these shapes or those images selected. I'm just going to lock those down so I can do that. And then once I have these, I'm just going to go and use the alignment tool and make sure it's perfectly centered. And let's use Pathfinder, and now I just made all of that into one shape. And yeah, I like the way this feather kind of looks because you have those certain like notches in there. But I really love how this one, how it has like that white space around it. And I think that is what would really help it stand out that it is a feather. I think if it was just like maybe this point sticking out of there, it might be a little confusing. But if I have it to where there's like a border that separates it, you know, I don't know, that's what I'm thinking right now. Let me know if you guys have any other ideas of how to do this. Because I was thinking, yeah, maybe just a feather is enough. Because I don't know, I could do the crossbones right here and a feather. I don't know. It's interesting. Which, let me look at the rest of the stuff I have in this file and see if there's anything in here that could be useful. And no, there's not. So yeah, let's work on this a little bit. And honestly, I've never really made a feather before, so we can kind of see what our best bet is. Let me look up a little more inspiration for just a second. So, yeah, something Hank Washington did, he's another great designer and streamer on Behance here, is for inspiration boards he went to Adobe Stock, which usually I go to Pinterest, but Adobe Stock seems like a smart bet since I am streaming on Behance and it's like Adobe family. Let's look up pirate, hat, and feather. I think with those 3 keywords we should have something that could be cool. I really just want to see how other people go about doing, like, creating pirate hats. And maybe I'm gonna type in outline, just so that way, like, maybe we get like a super like minimalistic, like reduced shape, like something like where you can see just like that and just that. So I'm gonna download that preview, because even that's a smart way of doing it, to where I don't actually have to like do a lot to the feather. I just kind of have this main shape with a circle. I don't want them to look like Peter Pan or like a Pied Piper, or I don't know, any of those other crazy things. But this, yeah, this bird illustration is everywhere on here. That's weird. Yeah, and these ones you can see they just have like, so that's another way of doing a feather, I guess, is where I just have the actual circle, and then it's almost like a leaf where I have like the stem there. So interesting. Yeah, let me go back here where I'm working, and I'm just gonna place this other one in here I got from Adobe Stock, which is just a preview. And if you're actually using stuff from Adobe Stock, I definitely recommend you license it. But for this, I'm mostly just kind of like using it as like a quick reference, because I did like the way they kind of solved that problem. Which I'm gonna lock that one too. I'm just gonna make it a little off to the side for a second. So let's just, yeah, let's figure out how to do this first. So I want to do that wrong line, just so I can maybe do like, I'm zoomed out way too far. Okay, let me think about a feather for a moment. I'm looking for this, and let's just look for like a feather, because I don't know, I'm struggling with that shape. And when I'm doing this as a reference, I don't really want to use someone else's illustration of a feather. If I'm gonna kind of like use it as like a good reference, I kind of want to use an actual feather, and then yeah, kind of go from that. Cool, so that's downloading. Let me go here, and let's place this one here as well. Oop. Warped it. Let me hold down Shift when I do that. So I'm gonna lock it down before I kind of start going over top of it. We'll just do that to there, and we'll kind of have like that base. And right now it's doing a fill, so let me switch to the stroke. Let me just kind of do this, and then once I kind of have like the base of this, sorry, I just kind of kicked something. I want to make sure it works with, you know, everything else that's going on. And honestly, it doesn't really have to be perfect. It's kind of better if it's not, because, you know, you think it's going to be like on the edge of a pirate hat. You know, I doubt a pirate had a perfect feather. I think that's what helps it, I don't know, feel a little more real too. I don't even have to follow the entire outline of this. It's more just like if you want to use it as a reference. So it looks a lot like a leaf. Let me play with it more, see what I can do. Back, bring it up a little bit. Oh, I sent it all the way to the back. So let me go Command Z. Oop, too far. Edit, redo paint style. Let me bring the stem all the way to the front. And then I'm thinking I might do something like this. And then I select that shape, and this shape, let me use the Pathfinder to like cut it out. So yeah, I kind of like that. So actually, before I do that too much, I'm going to duplicate this little shape, and let's just kind of do that and just take away little pieces of it. What's nice if I use A, then I can kind of like change how the shape looks in some spots. And I think that'll like really help it just to feel different each time. Which I don't really like that one. Maybe I just gotta push this even further. Maybe it's gotta be bigger. Honestly, I've never really made a feather before, so Oh, and Todd's saying that my internet cut out on me. What are we doing? So right now we're working on like a little hat to go on the feather. So just more symbols that can kind of be incorporated. Well, I'm really struggling with this because I'm not really used to making feathers for a hat. And it looks a little weird, but oh well. You know, it works for, trying to figure improv, Ooh. Let me go back a little. I think this is too big. And let me just try that, and then select both and use that shape, and use Pathfinder to kind of cut it out. Let's merge it with the stem as well. Ooh, maybe not. Let's go to this one. Let's go Object and Expand, so that changes it from a stroke to like its own shape. And then let's do that. And I'm just gonna copy that for right now. And let's just see like how this can look. Yeah, with it going here. Let's just change the color of this for a minute. And let's go to Object Arrange. Let's send it to the back. Cool. And I hold down Alt just to be able to copy it like that. So maybe I don't need that whole stem. And merge those shapes. The reason why I have that circle behind there is because I kind of really loved how this design, how it used that as like a cutout around there to really like help make that feather feel, part. And I realized too, there's probably people in here who are like, what are you even doing right now? But no worries, I'll give you a recap in just a second. Actually, I'm going to do that. Let me delete that. Let me select this top one, copy it, edit. Let's go paste in place, and let's object transform the scale. Let's try like 110% around it. Let's go object arrange, send to back. Let's select that. That's not what I want. So what I want to do is do this. To where I'm selecting the outline. Nope. So I keep getting a little distracted. I feel like my text is going off over here. It's my mama. Let's copy that. Let me do this. Let me go to that stroke of that. Do that, and let's crank that up. Oh, see, it starts going in. Let's go back. Maybe that's something I add afterwards, like manually. Let's go to redo, clear. I'm just going to duplicate all of that, just so we have another one, in case this doesn't work at all. So yeah, let's bring all this in here. Let's kind of figure out where this feather might go. And if you're wondering why I'm making a feather for this hat thing, it's because we're working on an identity system, well, kind of a booklet for a music festival. And it's like a pirate-themed music festival. So I want to really work on some of the symbols that I have incorporated. Which you can check out here, like a case study on my Behance page, where I break down the overall branding. And you can kind of see, here's some of the other symbols I've done in the past, where it's like a hook and a treble clef, or like a quarter note and a flag, create something new. So the goal is to be able to have each of these symbols that are in the background kind of work in more than one way. And so some of the feedback I had from Tunk, who's like in the chat or was earlier, was I should look at rest notes. And so right now we're working on, you know, like I think it's a half rest, mix it with like a feather to almost make like a pirate hat. And then I was also working on, or I might work on a quarter rest mixed with like a pirate sword, just to kind of help push those symbols like to the next level. And if you have any ideas or feedback or anything, let me know. So what I'm going to do just to make my life a little easier is I'm going to change the color of this feather for right now. Let me make sure I'm on... Oop, I want to be on the fill. Let me do that. Kind of like having a crazy color for it. I'm just going to go around the border. Kind of make my own shape just to cut it out. It's not going to be perfect, but, you know, it'll work. And then let's bring it up here. Let's click on again so I don't end up with some random curve. Let's click around here. Oop, I gotta zoom out a little bit just so I can see the whole line. We go kind of here roughly, make sure we're in like a right spot. And then pull it down, do it go right there. That might not be right, but let me just select both shapes. This new one's on top, then I go to Pathfinder right here, and I subtract it. And yeah, it's not great, but I can always go back right here when I click A and kind of edit these little anchor points, which I'm going to do. I was just saying, maybe to identify the 8th rest as an axe, you could add the cut like what you did with the feather. Oh, that's a good idea. It's where it's like a chipped axe or something. Yeah, I like that idea. And this one's not great, but, you know, you kind of get the idea. I think it needs a lot of refinement still. Because especially what happens if I make it super tiny. Which I want to think about, like, the size is probably going to be used. It'll probably be used around, like, that size, this size the most. Which immediately I know that those lines aren't thick enough, then that like separate the feather. Yeah, let's just save that for right now. And we can circle back to it. There's really no rush to finish all these symbols, because that's more part of like the whole visual system overall. Where today the kind of the goal is to focus on the booklet, which we've gotten pretty far. Let me open some back up in InDesign too. Boop, switches up. Again, if you get confused, you can always check in this top left corner where the symbol is. And I'm gonna do one last look through of this, and honestly, I might just export it and show some of that side of things. And I go to View, Screen Mode, Presentation, which I can go Shift W is kind of the shortcut to do that anyways. So yeah, let's just look through this really fast. And if anyone has any insights or notices anything else, let me know. Right now we're working on like more symbols and like ways to really push this further. And a new way to frame these this photography as well. It feels so short when I just flip through it quickly. This page needs to be pushed a lot further. Oh, and the recycling stuff too. Which I showed you guys a little bit ago what the other pages look like, or what they did past years. So let me show it really fast before I explain what I'm thinking. Let me switch sources. So yeah, you can see that when they did the recycling page in the past, it was just a bunch of illustrations of like food and like what you can and can't recycle. I think it's more beneficial just to go and get those off of like Adobe stock or a different site, because it's not really worth illustrating all of those like myself. Oh, but another thing though is I forgot, we can go ahead and make this mark, which is the GMF, but with like the recycling arrows. There you go. There it focuses. I think that could be something that we could knock out really quickly, and you know, it'd be pretty cool to help just add an extra bit of flavor to this. So, yeah, I realize I keep saying so a lot. I think I'm going to copy that shape because I think there's an opportunity to use it further up. And let's paste it right in here. Where'd it go? There we go. Cool. So yeah, I just wanted to do that, just so there's some consistent elements across the pages. And if anyone, has any feedback or anything, please let me know. Because it is cool just watching this kind of come together. Because when I first started, I kind of had an idea of like what I want to look like, but you know, I don't know the details. Yeah, so here we can go ahead and kind of export it and kind of play with some stuff. Let me make sure stuff is good on the other end as well. Let me exit out of that. Let me bring this up. Definitely don't want to exit out of that. Stream quality looks good. Oh yeah, here it is. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's click where we can edit this project. And let's minimize that for right now. And let's jump over to this side for just a moment. And I'm looking for this site. So I literally just found this right before the stream because I was looking for a way to embed a PDF file into my Behance project or on my page. And yeah, I found this one. It's called Flip Snack or Flip Books. I literally just got it by Googling it, so I know there's probably better versions. And if anyone has a different version, please let me know or knows a different way to do this. Because you can see this is like the one I tested. So I want to go to Upload PDF. And you can see the whole URL for this site as well. And right here, this is where I can upload my PDF file or create from scratch or upload from Drive. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go into InDesign and click File. Let's export. And I have the print one selected. I'm going to save over this version. So I'm going to go to this. And you can see I have variations where I just keep exporting. And let's call it 4. Even though it's all caps. Oh well. At least I know which file is which. I save it inside that one. And here's where we got a bunch of settings. So you can see up here, I'm on like a modified one. So you can look at all this stuff. If you're getting it printed, if you're getting this printed, you definitely need to use different exporting settings. But if you're trying to show it on the web, then I think this is one of the best ways. So you can go in and make sure this is set to smallest file size. And then you can see it changes image quality and like all this down to low. So then you go and change these to where you make sure the image quality is like max. But it's still, the rest of it is doing like smallest file size. Marks and bleeds, since we're showing it on the web, we don't need any marks or bleeds or cut marks. Rest of stuff should be fine. So the biggest thing if you're showing it on the web, I would say make sure it's smallest file size and make sure your image quality in both of these are set to max. At least that's the way I do it. And then I exported it, which didn't really show any progress bars, but it should be done. Let me minimize that, minimize Illustrator as well. I can actually go in and find that file, so let's look at it really fast. Let me go to Guide to the Fest, we export 4, it's all in caps. So let's open up this PDF file and just double check it. Let me drag this over here. So it opens up automatically in Acrobat. Let me go Control-0 and kind of just look at it in the right size. So I didn't export it as facing pages, so you can see it just shows the left and the right separately. But I think this is okay. I don't see anything. I was going to say I don't see any pixelization, but that photo looks pixelated. It's interesting seeing like how the map and everything splits in half. Yeah, so there we go. What I can, let me do it. What I can do is go in here, upload file. Make sure I'm in the right folder, export 4, click on this one, and it's uploading it to this site, which is flipsnack.com. which is a new one I just found too. So to be honest, this isn't like what I normally do. And it's just loading for a minute because it's like a PDF file. But it's important we do small file size so that way like it doesn't get rejected by this or doesn't like, I don't run any problems. And yeah, what's cool is you can see it out of the cover right there, and it adds these little shadows so it starts to feel real. You flip it open, it has like a crease with shadows. I thought that was a really nice touch. And yeah, you can just kind of flip through it, which I think will really help to the overall case study and just help it feel more like an actual book. And then yeah, I like the way it looks. Let's go to next. And I can add descriptions or anything, make it public, because I assume maybe you can look at stuff on other parts of the site. I have to select a category, which you can't see because it's behind my head, but all it says right here is a green button that says publish. And I only did this once, like right before the stream when I was looking for a way to do this. So you can see it's super easy. And then here's all the different ways I can share it. I'm looking for this one right here to embed it. And I can tell the dimensions I want it and responsive, so that's nice. And then right here I can copy that embed code. And then let's minimize this and let's open up Behance. And so here's that project we were just looking at together. I went to click to edit it. And this is the first version I did right before the stream just to test it. I'm going to delete that. And then find a spot right here. You want to look for these little marks to kind of embed, and then I just paste it, and now add like the flip book to this case study. So the next thing I want to do is have like a cooler mock-up, incorporate photography from the actual event into this case study. So that's the goal next, but I'm not as good at that, so I'm a little nervous doing that on like a stream. But I'm going to save that. So if you guys jump over to this page right now, you should be able to see the updated version we've been working on. And so I just click to preview it, so everything kind of looks the same so far. You go down here and you have Flip Snack. Oh, so here's the booklet, and then you can start interacting with the pages and actually flip through it, which I think is a nice little element just to help take the case study, you know, just a little bit further. Because it's one thing to have like a mock-up of like, you know, the adventure guide, but then to actually build the whole map and the schedule and like all the other elements of it, I think just adds a lot more to it. Plus, it's a lot cooler to actually see it with this, with the shadows and yeah, all that fun stuff. And I think it helps too just to be able to look at it in different context and be able to, you know, since it has this little shadow on it, see it how it's like flipped, how the corners are peeled, and just see if anything stands out or looks terrible. Which, if anyone has any feedback too, please don't hesitate to let me know. There's a couple more things I want to do. So yeah, here's the rest of that case study if anyone's tuning in late. And I have the videos down here from the mobile website. So I think on my actual website that I use for Adobe Portfolio, I'll probably add all the videos of these live streams we're watching and then have them side by side, because that'd be nice. But yeah, and I'm going to save that because I don't know if I did before. So now that'll actually be on my Behance page if you want to flip through it. But there are probably a lot better ways to do it. So cool. Cool. It's kind of fun saying cool a bunch, because I know that there are transcripts whenever this video finishes recording, and who knows if there's someone, you know, at Adobe who has to read all the transcripts or something, but then there's going to come to a part of my video where it just says cool like 8 times, and he's probably like, what is this person doing? He or she. Cool. Sorry, yeah, just fun joke for myself. Cool. And then since I'm making edits, I just want to make sure, you know, eventually I go back, re-export it, re-upload it through that site, and replace the one that I have embedded there. And you can see I'm bringing in other shapes from my CC library. These are ones I've been working with before, and I know I incorporate them in other ways, like on the billboard that I showed. So I think it could be nice to add these on here, and then go into like properties and bring them down to maybe like a 60% or a 50% transparency. So they kind of like blend in as background elements. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Right now, I guess whenever I upload into my CC library, they're huge. But once I have these ones kind of in here, then I can go in and just copy and paste them, so I don't have to like keep redoing the same thing. Which I'm curious what opacity I did for this one. This one is 60, so I just want to make sure I stay consistent. Let me double check stuff over here on the side, make sure we're still good. The quality looks good. Let me bring this up for just a moment. Sweet. So yeah, we're still good. I think this is still a little large. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to adjust the frame around it. And this symbol I'll probably end up getting rid of, just because it's only a wheel of a ship. You know, it doesn't have anything that really just takes it. You know, it doesn't combine with anything else or take it the extra mile. So if you know music note, somehow I can incorporate into this, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I still gotta bring that down smaller. Because I think the ones like this one, where it's a treble clef but it also has a hook on the end, I really want to highlight those ones, because I think those ones are the cool ones. But like this one, where it's just like a bottle, you know, that's kind of boring. So let's bring it down to like 10%. There we go. So you can see how large that photo was, or that image was. That's all on me, just whenever I import them, I just did it huge. And let's do it again. Let's maybe bring it to, yeah, 60% of that. And let's bring it up here. Let's just like rotate it. And just have it like as a background element. Here we go. Here's another one I really love. This music note. Let's bring it down to 40% of that. Let's bring that opacity down to 60%. Let's bring it down another, let's say like 85%. And I know I'm working with percentages. It's just, I don't know, I prefer to do it. And then I just want to make sure it's behind any of like the map or anything like that. And you know, it's cool if people don't, you know, see the symbolism right away. Most people will never know that that's like a hook or that's like a flag. But I think having those extra elements in there is like just what takes it to the whole next level. Because one thing just include like little symbols of like stuff you know, are familiar with, like a ship wheel, you know. But it's another thing if you can combine that with something else to make it, you know, unique to this project. And see, now once I have like those main elements in there, then I can just keep copying and pasting them and kind of rotating them in different directions and changing the scale just to help them kind of feel like fresh each time. At least that's the way I tried to do it. If you're digging the music too, you can go and follow my buddy Seth Lynn. You can see his information down below. He's a very good buddy, and I appreciate him for letting me use this music. He actually wrote and recorded all this just so I can have some stuff for the live stream. So I do appreciate him. Or I definitely appreciate him. And I'm just seeing if there's anything over here I missed. So it could be cool to, let's try out that symbol we just made with the hat. Well said. No, I appreciate it. He's probably talking about the symbols. Let's just see if this works at all. So I'm going to go and bring this into my library. I go and click this little plus sign, and we just add it as a graphic. Which, honestly, I'm probably going to end up deleting this one and then adding a newer version of it. So yeah, we have it right there. It's not grouped, but oh well. And yeah, you can see right here now in InDesign, it just pops up right in this library. He's asking who? You may be asking like who actually wrote the music. If you scroll down to the info or about section at the bottom of this video, you can see Seth Lynn. Israel is saying, "You are a role model for me, and I love your work." That is, honestly, that means so much. It's like so sweet. I've never had someone say that. Honestly, that means a lot. That's really cool, Israel. I appreciate you a lot. You know what? Let's take a second. And I'm going to follow your work. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I can see your photo now. I recognize you from the Discord, or from Illustrator. That's dope. Well, I'm following you now, so I want to see some really dope work. Which I'm pretty sure I have already a lot in like the Discord channel. So that's really cool, seeing like people. It's cool seeing a lot of the same people like in Discord constantly show work, because you get to get used to their style. But then it's also cool to just be able to connect with you, you know, outside of there. So I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you. If you ever have any questions or anything, just let me know. I'm usually pretty chill. And this is the symbol we just kind of made, which is still a little big. It just doesn't have the same vibe as the rest yet. And most people won't know that's like a little half rest. You know, that actually could kind of work. So the people just saw me kind of make that one. Let's look at how it works like in context with the rest of them. So I need to make those shapes even more transparent. Right now they're at a 60%. Maybe I bring it down to like a 40%. Because it's kind of starting to compete with everything, and I want it to be like a really subtle element in the background. And maybe this box, I use the exact same opacity I'm using for these symbols. Then here's an... what's the Discord link? Yeah, let me... Actually, I think I know off the top of my head. If you go to behance.net-challenge, and right now I'm typing it in too, so you might just see it pop up in just a second, -Illustrator. So right now I'm a mentor for the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenges, and they're in like 2-week intervals. And so on this link you can kind of see the challenges that everyone's kind of doing, and then there's also a link to the Discord from that, where you can post your work and get feedback from myself. There's Jack Watson, who was higher up in the chat, who's also a very talented designer and streamer. And yeah, there's a lot of people who give feedback. Kathleen, Andrew Hawkrattle, Val. Like there's a ton of people in there who are, you know, constantly giving feedback for design. You can ask questions, get portfolio reviewed. That's been huge and like a lot of fun. But here's the question: this 2021, should I adjust the opacity of that, or should I keep this one bright? But in the meantime, I'm going to click on all these, and I'm going to bring the opacity down even more. Because the big thing is you have to ask yourself, like, what's most important here? Actually, I'm not going to click that yet, because I think this is all grouped together. So right now it's 60%. Let's bring it down to 40%. Maybe even 35 if we're feeling crazy. Oh, and Jack's still here. It's good to see Jack. Yeah, if you check out Jack's videos, they're incredible. I'm just going to ungroup those. Let's bring this box down to, let's bring it down to 35%. But let's view it again. Let's go screen mode, presentation. And yeah, I think it's much better to have them as like a subtle element in the background. I think this works well because it's unique, so we can leave that bold. And here's that little half rest and the feather pirate hat thing we added. And I think that fits well kind of with the rest of them. So yeah, it's cool when something, you know, starts to work out. And that's something we can probably carry over here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. But before I do that, I can jump in. So I'm back in Illustrator again. You can see the icon over here on the left. This is the symbol I was making a minute ago, where it's like a, you know, a half rest for a music note mixed with a pirate hat. And then the other one I could do is the sword with the quarter rest. But that one, I know that's going to be a struggle, because it's like such a odd shape, and a lot of people may not recognize it, you know, right off the bat anyways. But oh well. And the other one was suggested, I think, by Taj, was saying doing the 8th rest and combining it with like an axe. So I think trying to use these pirate symbols with the music notes is going to be like, you know, one of my favorite elements of this. So yeah. I can go and delete that little wireframe I had. If you're curious what that was, you can check out the stream from yesterday where I kind of, you know, talked about it for a little bit. And I think just to make my life easier, I'm just going to select all these ones. And I'm just going to copy and paste it into that canvas and then kind of move them around. So I copied it. Now this, let's go edit, paste in place. And let's just kind of bring this off to the side. And then kind of, because I don't want them to be in the exact same spot as they were on the other page. That's not as much fun. And then just kind of rotating them and playing with the scale, and yeah, just making them feel like fresh each time. I feel so flattered that Israr said I'm like a role model for him. That's so cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's honestly like very flattering. It means a lot. Thank you. Oh, Tunk's back. Oh, dope. So, yeah, cool. Which I was going into the symbols a little bit. Let me just finish this really fast, and I'll kind of show you what I did a little bit. And then, yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about diving into one of the other symbols, but it's kind of tough. Let me just kind of duplicate it and rotate. And then just play with the scale a little bit, because I don't want to forget about that. And I want it to kind of be evenly spaced. Bring it down to 85%. Cool, and I'm just going to click save for a minute before I actually preview it. I feel like those shapes are a bit crammed. I do agree. So, okay. Okay, no, that's fair. So I'll give it a minute and like preview it, and then we'll see. Because it also could feel like that with all the lines and everything. And that's what I was thinking. If I mess with the opacity, then it starts to blend in a little more. But yeah. Sorry, my nose is itchy. So since Tunk is back, so I'm going to close InDesign, or at least minimize it. And let's go back into Illustrator. And we were exploring some of the shapes that we were talking about. So yesterday you were suggesting playing with like rest symbols. So I found a nice photo that kind of like breaks them down, just so I can make sure I call them by the right names at least. So the one that I figured was kind of easier to start out with was, you know, the half rest, where it's like this, and maybe I incorporate it and like make it like a pirate hat almost. So that was one I kind of tried to do like kind of quickly, because I figured that was an easier one. Then the other one, like I have photo references here, was playing with what is that? The quarter rest, and like what kind of swords could almost reflect that. So that way it's like a pirate vibe. But I do know this one's going to be a little trickier, which I was kind of saying just a minute ago. So Tunk, if you have any advice, please let me know. Or any other symbols. Taj, who's also in the chat, was suggesting doing the 8th rest and making that into like an axe or like a hatchet or something. So that could be pretty cool. Yeah, this sword's going to be tough, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then even the way they write the quarter rests are different. And I imagine it's the same thing with like calligraphy or like fonts and stuff, how, you know, some of the different like weights. Because that's the one that I recognize a lot more than this one. Interesting. But yeah, the other one was just the little hat with the feather, because I figured that one was pretty easy to knock out. But if you have any other advice for like other types of symbols to incorporate, please let me know. Oh, you just did right there. Sorry, the chat's delayed about like 30 seconds or something, so keep that in mind. But Tunk is saying with quarter rest, you can make a katana. I could make a katana. So the reason why I was kind of like, when I googled pirate sword, this is kind of the one that came up a lot more, which is more like maybe more cartoony. But I do kind of like how like it has like this blade that's like very exaggerated and like has all these extra ridges in it, because I feel like that works pretty well with this. Where a katana is like a very long one, like a traditional sword. So I feel like I'd want something that was more like, yeah, I don't know if a katana would be the best bet. Oh, and Gadir joined the chat again. Hey, it's good to see you, Gadir. Coming back. Nice, that's awesome. I think you've been to at least like maybe 3 of these for this series. We're working on, yeah, different symbols to help really push the branding even further. But yeah, let me know if you have any ideas. I wonder if an 8th rest could also work as like a pirate flag or something. And Martin's saying recognizability will be important, I think. I do agree. The thing is, though, they're like background elements. So when you look at this, you're just going to think it's like a very like simple hat. But then if most people actually won't even think anything of these symbols. They'll just be like, okay, yeah, it's just like a simple hat, or it's just like a squiggly line. Which is why, like, in my actual Behance like project, when I did this for some of the other ones, I try to just make it as simple as possible, where I lay it, it's like, okay, a hook plus a treble clef equals like this treble hook thing, you know, or it's like a quarter note, or is that an eighth note, mixed with a flag, you know, equals this. So that way it's laid out very clear, because a lot of people won't really get it. But then it's like, when I use this background element, they'll probably just see music notes and be like, okay, yeah, whatever. But then just having like those secret hidden elements, I think is huge. So yeah, that's kind of the goal here. Let me double check stream quality. Seems to be pretty good. Let me refresh this right here. Nice. Yeah, we have a lot of people that are joining late too, but no worries. The biggest thing we're doing is we're working in InDesign, which does feel very cluttered. I agree with that, Taj. We're working on booklet here, and so you can see we have the cover page. This is part 4, so we've gotten pretty far. Yeah, here's these pages. One of the things we were talking about was how to include the photography better. And Tunk had some great advice a little bit ago. I'm going to have to change out the photography. The poster. I have a lot of the names for like the supporters, or the schedule. We've got the map. Oh, this does feel cluttered, I do agree. And all of this, because I didn't really expect to go into this, but... What do you guys think? Do you think it feels cluttered too? I think a way to do that is maybe scaling down all these symbols and maybe even making them like even more transparent, just so that way they're like very like they don't really blend in there. So let's explore some options here. Let me know how you guys feel about it too, because I think it does. I do agree with Taj's feedback. I think it is a little cluttered. And if you have any ways to solve that too, it's right now they're 35%. Let's bring them down to 20%. Just so they're like super like, I don't know, just kind of hidden, kind of discreet. Screen mode's go to presentation, which I gotta keep remembering that there's a shortcut for that, which is Shift W. So I think even by like bringing them down more, like just 20% hides it. I don't really like having the bomb, like the cannonball here, because I'm using it here. So maybe I delete that and bring in like a different symbol, or yeah, bring the hat over. And honestly, this is kind of how I design. I just do a little bit, zoom out, look at it, just see what I notice next, and then just keep doing it over and over again until eventually I'm like, okay, I just gotta call it. Oh, and Taj has some feedback. If you put them all, we're just talking about the symbols, if you put them all behind, you can put them behind some objects so it isn't using up all the free space. Okay, yeah, so I see what you mean. So it's like, it starts to overlap some of these things, so it's not just like in all this free space. Okay, so that means there's more like breathing room around it too, I bet. Okay, I can totally imagine that. And I saw Tunk, let me read that in just a second. I just want to bring the opacity of these shapes down to 20% so I don't forget, because I don't know, I'll start jumping around and not remember to do that, just so even if I'm not completely happy with it, at least it's consistent. So Tung is saying I've sent an example on Discord, maybe it may work with quarter rest better than katana. So yeah, let me take a second and see if I can open this up discreetly on the side, because I don't want to do it just directly on the channel until I know what it is, because, you know, I gotta play it safe. Here we go. Yeah, let me bring this over here. Yeah, and I appreciate the feedback, Tonk. Discord. So, he was suggesting, actually, let me show the symbol first, because a lot of people are gonna be like, what are you even talking about, dude? We were talking about how to make these music notes, you know, into pirate-themed, you know, symbols as well. And so the big one we're working with right here is a quarter rest. And so let me know if you guys have feedback too. Where I was thinking the quarter rest would be good with, like, you know, these typical, you know, cliche pirate swords where they have, like, you know, these big giant blade with all these like little ragged edges. And one of the things he was suggesting is using like a katana. And he sent me over like this blade right here, this photo. So it is very interesting. It's like, it's very decorative hilt. So I think that helps with like those different shapes. And then, but it's got the very pointy end. So when I compare it to, when I look at side by side, that could work. Huh. I don't know if I want to make the sword today with this note. Because I think that I'm going to end up, it'd be tough to land on something I'm very happy with. But that's really good to know. I'm probably going to end up doing that one offline and updating everything. Here we go. So let me minimize that. Boom. Yeah, because I like where that's going. Ooh, actually, what I should do, so I don't forget, I'm going to save that image you just sent me. Cool, let me minimize that. Let me just drop it in this file, actually. That's what I probably should have done. And look how crazy that is. You know, I'm just someone somewhere else in the world. You know, you send that to Discord, and now that's on the live stream right here in this file. That's just crazy how stuff works out. But thank you, Tunk. I appreciate you a lot. Because that could be another great reference photo to kind of use. Let me just save that too. Another idea I was playing with was on the kids page, because I think that one needs a lot of work, which I need to, so I'm opening InDesign again. Oh yeah, this does feel so cluttered now. See, what helps sometimes is if I just look away and look back, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, let me just take a step back, kind of take it in. I think it's the grids and the guides that are really throwing me off. And yeah, Taj's right. Tommy's saying, or I was thinking the same thing, dude. It's scary in a way. It is really crazy because you don't expect, like, that just shows you like how real like their interaction is and everything. But yeah, yeah. At first glance, I think Taj is right. I think it could be better to have shapes overlapping stuff. So maybe they go behind the waves, they go behind the map. Because right now they're just all just placed perfectly in these little spots, and it's just, yeah, it just feels weird at the moment. So, do I dare delete them? Maybe, no, I'm just gonna drag them off to the side. Just so that way I can easily bring them back in if I need to. And I'm just going to save it again. And yeah, this map right here. So the idea here is like, you know, we almost make it like a treasure map in a way. Because it's a pirate-themed festival. You know, I already have the map. You know, it's a big thing they do is like, you know, unfold those treasure maps and it's got the dashed line that leads all the way to like where the treasure is. So maybe I do that to lead to where the kids zone is. And also maybe to like, if you actually find where that exact spot is, maybe there's a table where someone's handing out beads, and it just makes it like, it just like raises the bar and like adds like, I don't know, more levels to the festival. Because I know they already do this, they already have the kids section. Getting like beads or something to hand out, I'm sure is super easy. Like yeah. So I'm minimizing that, and we're going into, yeah, this map I made yesterday, which is a variation of this map. So this is like the official one where it shows you where everything is. So I was like, since I already have that resource, I might as well go in and, yeah, use this map to make it for like the kids zone. But I'm not happy where this one is yet. It's a good, you might have saw the glimpse above it, but I was trying to play with doing 3D. And to be honest, I'm not the greatest at 3D. I know Jackson here, and she has like a lot of videos on, you know, I think it was isometric designs and working in 3D. So please don't judge me. Cool, so I also want to make sure I kind of have everything. Let's ungroup some of these. And I'm just going to group those. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to just highlight everything here and go Command G, make sure those are grouped. Then go Edit, Paste in Place. Cool, so that way everything, those should all be grouped, and these should be grouped as well. I go up to Effect, I can go to 3D, Extrude Bevel. And you can see it starts to mess with that shape. And what's nice is that preview checked, you can kind of see it happening in real time. And I feel like I would want it to be like an angle up here. And then let's bring this down to like 20 maybe. Let's just see what's going on now. So yeah, you can kind of see it made him some. Oh, I see. Taj is like tagging Jack when you need some 3D help, and Jack saying, "Ha, I would never judge you, Colby." And then Taj saying, "Why would someone judge you? You make great stuff. Thank you, both of you." Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's always just you know, when you start designing, you know, other people watching, and you start doing something you're not as comfortable with, then that's when it's like, oh no. Which, right here, I'm going to go ahead and Command Z this, because I think I want to just do it to the main background, and not all these extra shapes. I appreciate the love, Taj and Jack. So let's, experiment with this. Let's go to Effect, try 3D, Extrude Bevel. What's nice too, so up here I'm just playing with like the direction of that shape. And I think I was better off the first time. So right now I'm only doing the strokes, so I don't have that background layer with this. So I want both of those, go to Group, Object Arrange, send to back, so all those are behind it. Yeah, so I think what's going on is I have some of these shapes that are merged in there with it. And so it's not exactly where I want to be. Did I do that on this whole thing? I did, I think. Okay. We'll make it work anyways. Go to Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel. And yeah, let's bring this down a lot. Oh, and Jack is saying the 3D effects are tricky. It takes a lot of experimentation to get the look you want. And I totally agree. Like, I haven't really experimented with enough to know what I can and can't do. I kind of know what the options are, and I'm like, oh, let me try that, or this and that. And I'm like, and then you end up running a lot of problems like, oh, that didn't work. So it's like, usually I prefer to run into those problems, you know, when I don't have other people watching me. But oh well, you know, if I make a mistake, you know, maybe we can figure out together how to get around it. So yeah, some of these shapes end up doing some weird stuff. Like that ends up being weird. Maybe if I just hide it. So Jack's saying, yeah, I appreciate the feedback too. You might need to do the 3D effect on both the background and the foreground. So both the background. Tosh saying, sorry, I'm ADD. Tosh saying the live is great for designers because other designers can help. It's totally true. And then right before that, it's like while I'm reading Jack's advice. So you might need to do the 3D effect on both the background and foreground and change the depth of the background, white shape, so that it's lower than the other elements. And pitch in is what Tosh saying. Thank you, Jack. Okay. I think I get what you mean. Because I do love just like the little bit of 3D, you know, it adds. You know, just like the extra elements it adds to it. So I'm just gonna ungroup all this, ungroup. And then I think these are the elements that I want to be separate. So actually I'm gonna go Command G to group it, Command C to copy it, I'm gonna delete it. Oh, I didn't do that one, that's weird. Or that one. Oh, because they all came ungroups. That's not really what I want. That's interesting, yeah. Some of these individual ones came ungrouped somehow. And then just Command G just to group it. Now let's drag it off to the side. Oh, and Jack's saying, and that way the background and foreground will still be lifted in the same perspective. Okay. I think I got you. I hope. Okay, so that's the background. This one would be the foreground then. These extra shapes I should still keep grouped. I kind of wish I didn't merge those with the Pathfinder to that, because that might make my life a little more difficult. Okay, so those are grouped, which maybe those should be grouped with the foreground ones. So this is the background. Cool. So let me go into Effect. Let's do 3D, Extrude and Bevel. And I just gotta remember the exact angle I'm doing these at, so I'll write that down. Which I think that looks good. I kind of like when it's leaning off to the top left. So stuff I'm gonna write down would be these numbers, 12, 13, and 1. Which I probably could have remembered it, but oh well. So since this is the background, I'm gonna guess this one's gonna be lower. So let's do like 10, you know? Click OK. Ooh. And let's select this top one. Let's do the same thing. Effect, Extrude and Bevel. Let's just go into these. And I did 12. Click Tab. I did 13. Oh, that did negative 12. Let me delete the negative. And that was 1. And then let's bring this up to, the other one was 10. Let's do 25. Yeah, I think it's already looking a lot better. Which I'm not sure if that's what you meant, Jack, but it's working. And then I had all these. Oop, I don't want to take that. Let's go ahead and ungroup them. I want that to be grouped with those, because for some reason that... Oop, not that. Okay, hold on. So I need to object ungroup those. Good, so that's on its own. And then somehow the beginning and end ones came ungrouped, so I'm just going to go and group those with those. Let's maybe add a subtle drop shadow on those. Oh, Jack's saying... Oh, and Todd's saying, wow, that looks way better. I totally agree. And Jack's saying, yep, you got it. I think that's what you were going for. It is. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you. Just so it helps like the map feel very different than like the more like informative top-down one. Which maybe I should include some colors or something. I think like a pirate map, it probably has like a palm tree or like maybe the stages start to like, yeah, that'd be really cool to have like an illustration like 3D of like the stage popping up, and yeah, that'd be fun. I might do that. What? I only see that changing. Oh, I see what's going on. It's like much further away. Okay, hold on. Let's do that. Let me go back here. Go to Edit, Stylize, Drop Shadow. Maybe it's... Okay, let's... Whew. Let's do like a 0.5 in front of that, so it's like half. See, that does not look good. Okay, hold on, let me take a step back. Oh, and Taj suggesting cut out the red lines that go out of the border because it would make more sense without them. Oh, I agree. Yeah, this, which I'm pointing on my screen. Yeah, this one over here. I'll do that. Thank you, Taj. And Donna's joined. Hello, everyone. Hello, Colby. It's good to see you, Donna. Thanks for joining. We're kind of doing like the tail end of this booklet design, so we're almost like just doing like little tiny details, which that looks terrible. Why am I running these problems with the drop shadow? But I agree with Taj's advice, so let me go ahead and just kind of delete that element. Because it's like, why would that go outside unless there was like a gate or something designed in here? Which I know is totally a better way to do that. Let's try this again. No, honestly, I'm just kind of playing with these, just seeing if one of them looks better. Some of these are just so intense. Well, Towson, now that's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, right? That's cool seeing stuff come together. Because honestly, I didn't really expect to really go into this. But it works. And I'm just gonna save this for a minute. And let's go copy it. I'm gonna minimize this, jump back into InDesign. And let's get rid of this plain 2D map. Let's go Control V to kind of paste it in here. Should work. Yep. Which, welcome anyone who's joining late too. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm just making a booklet for a music festival because I would love to build design for a music festival, you know. Is there a shape behind it? There's something else I copied when I did that, I think. No, there isn't. What? Oh, I took that shape. So let me, back in here, go Control Z. Maybe I didn't. What other shape would be in there? That was weird. Maybe it's something with like the background. Well, let's try that again. So I have all that highlighted. I'm just going to go over here to my CC library and click Add it as a graphic. So, yeah, now you can see right over here it's called Artwork 52. I'm going to minimize this, go into InDesign, you can go to CC Libraries, and yeah, I have it right here. So let me just drag that in. Okay, now I don't have that rectangle behind it, which is super weird why it was there. Kind of bring some of these down. There's still stuff I want to fix this more. Because it just needs more color. This is the kids zone that I'm supposed to be portraying, so it needs to be fun and wild and yeah, like the time of our lives. So it's not there yet, but we're getting closer. I think the 3D effect helped. Well, let me scale it down a little more. There we go. Because you can see this is the map above it, where this is more informative. And yeah, I still think maybe those background shapes are too much. I think Taj is right. Let me view it. with those shapes. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still stuck in the middle. Hey, if anyone in the chat, let me know if you have feedback. Do you think these shapes are working, or is it just distracting? Because that's something, I know Taj was saying, like, it does feel cluttered, and maybe I need to have it to where it just goes kind of behind some of the shapes. And that might be the way to, or behind, like, the map and some of the other elements. So I think that might be the way to solve that problem, but I don't know yet. So let me know if you guys have any opinions, too. Like, do these little, like transparent shapes work, or does it make it feel too busy? Because I honestly don't know. But yeah, you can see, but I was showing originally, this is like the map that's top down. This is showing you where the stages are and everything. Oh, it's saying that's nice, that's nice. You might be talking about this or the symbols. I'm not sure which one, to be honest. I'm just going to save it, because I saved stuff like a million times. And maybe it's just about incorporating more illustrations on this page. Because I have this space here, and I have like this space here. That I think could be cool to have more elements. Maybe it's about just something else. Honestly, this may not work at all. I'm just kind of playing with it. Maybe it goes up here? I can kind of imagine that. Maybe it goes over like the orange border. Which the reason why I kind of have that is since this is a music festival, it's all about like, oh, downtown Tampa and like, you know, that local community. They're very known as like for like Cigar City, for like producing cigars. And like I figured this brown border kind of worked well to help reflect like some cigar packaging. At least that was my thought process behind it. Same thing with the waves, you know, it's supposed to represent like the Bay of Tampa, because that's like what you're overlooking. Even just I had like something that was like right there, that could be cool. Maybe it is just a symbol. I'd rather it be something cooler. And maybe it's an element that's like in the middle. It'd be cool. Oh yeah, Donna's saying, yeah, Colby, you're right. It looks a little empty, the background. So are you saying that like I should use the symbols to help fill in the background, or like even with this it still kind of feels a little empty? I'm curious what your opinion is, Donna. So you think like yes, use the symbols to kind of like fill in like the emptiness, or it's like no, I think we need to look at like other solutions? Because I'm curious, yeah, because I'm not sure yet. And if anyone's tuning in late too, say hello. Let me know. Let me know if you're confused or you want me to give like a big breakdown of like this project really fast. Because I've been having to do that a lot, just like catch people up. Because I know people tune in late and you can't really watch the recording until, you know, it processes. And that can take a little bit. Which is that a different opacity? That's 20. Okay, so maybe I need to bring these down to 20. And yeah, Taj is saying, can you make the opacity for that note less because it looks like a little bit much? And I totally agree. And that's why I just realized that these are at 20 while those are at 40%. So yeah, I do think so. And it's giant. And yeah, these are, maybe they're too big. Because I agree. Honestly, sometimes I do stuff and then like, I know it's not the best solution, but then I kind of wait to come back to edit it until I have like an idea or I don't know, until I'm like looking at it with a fresh pair of eyes. Which is why I bounce around between what pages I do a lot. Or I'll go into view and then screen mode and presentation and just view it without the guides, take a step back. And yeah, I noticed that same problem. Where this is kind of weird. It does kind of help fill in that gap. This should maybe be shifted over slightly. I feel like there's a better solution of what to do here. I feel like there's a better solution for this page to make it more playful. Okay, Todd's saying I like how big they are. Okay. Yeah, so let me just kind of play with this a little more. Which I know we're going kind of late for a stream today too. Usually I try to end like 20 minutes ago. But I figured why not keep going. No, I'm on a roll right now. And I don't know... I'd rather try to get like this whole thing knocked out while I can. Which, let me take a second, double check the stream quality over here. Which I'm pretty sure some of y'all would have been like, oh yeah, this looks terrible. Like, what's up? But I always like to just double check everything, make sure we're still good. And we're still good. Dope. So you were saying you like how big it was, and I think this can work pretty well to fill in like this weird gap. But these ones, I need to make them still different scale. Because the big thing is if you have everything large, then nothing's large. You know, if you have something tiny and then something large, then the large thing is going to feel huge, if that makes any sense, you know? It's all about just having some contrast in the scale. Because it'd be much better to go from like small, medium to large with the symbols, I think, than just having like, you know, 2 large and 1 medium symbol. So I'm going to save that. Let me jump back into Illustrator again. So I minimize that, bring it up. You can see the icon in the corner. Let me start on... Nope, let me go Control Z. Yeah, so I think it would be really cool to just push this 3D map even further and add like colors to the stages, add some palm trees, some other elements. What we could possibly do is to maybe go into like Adobe Stock and look at... Okay, yeah, sorry, let me show you guys what I'm thinking right now. So in InDesign, one of the other pages I have down here is the recycling page. So this is where they talk about their initiatives from the past several years, how much they're able to give back. And Donna's saying, thank you for asking our opinion. No problem. Honestly, I appreciate having like, feedback from people. Like, a lot of times when I design, I get wrapped up in my own head. And I have some friends, you know, who I went to school with who are also graphic designers, where, like, if I'm really stuck, I'll bounce ideas off of. But no, it's cool to be able to hear input from other people. And Donna's saying, it's very nice. Thank you. So this recycling section, the way they've done in past years is they just have, like... Sorry, I gotta fix my chair. They just have yes and no, and it's just 2... columns, and they have, you know, almost look like stock illustrations that say, yes, you can recycle this, no, you can't recycle that. Which, let me just show you really fast, because I do have it readily available. Yes, let me switch sources too. Let me know if I forget to switch sources back, because I've done that. So this is a book they did last year. Yeah, this is for 2020. So, in here you can see yes and no. It's just like the items that they should and should not recycle, which I think helps a lot just to make everything as simple as possible. But they're all like custom illustrations that are a very different style than everything else in here, which is why I'm thinking that maybe I'm better off just getting like these from like Adobe Stock. Something else that's pretty cool is they have, which I keep forgetting, that GMF in like the recycle, kind of combined with the recycle logo, and I think that I can make that very quickly. So that's something I want to use as well. So before I forget, let me switch that back over. Cool. So I'm going to, before I go to Adobe Stock, I'm going to minimize this and kind of make the little recycling logo. So I'll do that in this file up here where I have GMF logo that I was working on the symbols. And you can zoom out. This is what my files look like. It's a mess, but oh well. Let me then take, actually this one before it's like merged with the Pathfinder. And let me just paste it over here to like a new corner. And let's think for a second. Let me just duplicate it. Oh, let me highlight all of it and duplicate it. Nope. Highlight all of it, hold down Alt, and then Shift and drag it off. Okay. Let me zoom in just a little more. So I'm just gonna get rid of some of these other things I don't need. Let me think for a minute. So I'm gonna switch that to from a fill to a stroke. Go and increase the stroke weight. And I'm thinking it would be nice to have the thickness of this almost look like the same thickness as these letters, which I think right now it does. Just so that way, like, it just feels part of the same family. Let me look at how they did it again too. Because with stuff like this, there's no need to like reinvent the wheel. You know, if there's a good way to do it, then I should do it that way. And maybe I just go to the star tool, bring down the arrows, and just get some triangles to work with. Because that would be like the head of the arrow. Switch it from a stroke back to a fill. And with this, maybe I go object expand. Honestly, I'm just kind of thinking this through as I do it. So that way it's not stroke anymore, it's just like its own shape. And then for them, they do one at the top and they do them on the corners as well. And maybe I rotate it slightly. Let me duplicate 2 more. They do like another one. Needs 2 point more stroke is what Tonga's saying. You think? Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me go Command Z before I start doing all this. So right here. So maybe 1 more. Well, it's tough. So what I can do to really test, because you were right, it did need more. I'll change it to a crazy color and just kind of put it over top of this. And then if I bring it down 1, let me just bring it to front. Yeah, you're right. It was 2 points. Look at that. 2 points for Tunk. It's like 2 points for Gryffindor. Sorry, stupid joke. Thank you. Yeah, no, you're right. So that's a 6. So I'm just going to Command Z so I can get it like lined up where I had it. Or actually, I could probably just select those and then do that. And then this is still 6. Cool. Which now I realize too, this is a little thicker than those. So this is, you know, getting based off that. So go up there. Actually, so one of the things I learned from taking a workshop with Aaron Draplin is vectors are free. So every time you make a change, just keep duplicating it and dragging it over. And that's something I'm trying to get in the habit of doing. But if you can do that, at the end it's really cool to show like how the symbol evolved over time. And honestly, I'm just kind of making this rough. Like, it doesn't have to be great. Oh, make it a greenish. Oh yeah, Taj, make it a greenish color for the recycle thing. Yeah, that's a smart idea. Because that's, yeah, you're totally right. I wasn't gonna do that, but yeah, that's. Thank you. Yeah, you're totally right. That's a good idea. So I guess I didn't expand that before. Now let me bring this over. Honestly, this probably isn't the best way to do it, but I'm just trying to think of what I should do. Maybe I do this. Make it a crazy color, which that wasn't very crazy. Okay, object range sent to back for right now. Because, well, actually, I want to take that corner, because I want that line, which I'm pointing at my screen thinking you guys know what I'm talking about. That other triangle is off, by the way. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see them now. Which I'll do those in just a second. Thank you. So I want this line to kind of be, like, flat. Maybe I just need less space too. Oop. Yeah, there's totally better ways to do this, but I'm just kind of figuring this out. Yeah, let me do it like that. Drag the shape off, and then maybe I use that and use a path. Nope. Let me bring this in front. Object arrange. Bring to front. Let me select that and this. Use the pathfinder to kind of delete it. Yeah, that kind of worked. It's not the best, but you know, at least it kind of did it. I can probably just go ahead and merge that shape with that one, and now just repeat the process. I think this is the one that Taj is saying is off. Oop. Yeah, it's starting to work. Zoom it out. Okay, it kind of works. There's still some, like, it's not the greatest, but we're getting there. Let me copy it, bring it over. Cool, cool. I just don't like these angles right there. Those can definitely be fixed. Let's play with the color, though. Let's see what... I want to use colors that I'm already using. Taj saying, wow, the people who run this thing will be more than happy with your work, or at least that's what I think. Well, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Hopefully. You know, honestly, it doesn't really matter too much what they think, as long as I'm not doing anything crazy, and as long as you guys like where I'm going with this. I think that's really what matters. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's just nice to be able to, you know, make variations of this stuff and be able to push these projects further. Because really, when I started out with this project for Gasparilla Music Festival, which, let me show this while I got a second. You know, it's just like the visual identity, and it was the branding. So it was like, it's a pirate-themed music festival in Tampa, Florida. You know, you can see this on my Behance page where I talk about the challenge and solution and the logo system I'm using. And then the symbols. You know, I have all these elements, but I think being able to add elements like building this entire book is going to help push this project even further to where it's like, it has all those extra elements to where you can go an extra mile. I think that's going to add a lot. So it doesn't just show mock-ups, it shows how I solve those problems with the text, how I'm actually like, yeah, solving these real-world problems you'd have to do. Same thing with like this interactive prototype you have in XD. To be able to actually go through the mobile website and be able to click on it, I think will show a lot of people that it's like, oh, you didn't just like, you know, you actually thought about this stuff. You didn't just like, I don't know. Yeah, and also having the videos that do that. But yeah, where was I? I was in InDesign. Or I was in Illustrator, but I think I copied it. Let me try to paste it. I didn't see anything happen. So let me go into here. Let me try it just white for right now. I'm going to go here, click add the graphic. Let me minimize this. Let me go into CC library. I want to look for that graphic I just added. Here we go. Let's see if this works or not. Let's go transform the scale. Let's try by 50%. Let's do it again by like 80%. And then I think that would go right over here. And let's bring it down even more. Let's do another 80%. And I think I'm going to end up making it like maybe this bluish color. And bring that in. So that's better. I think it'd be nice to have a little bit of color. File save. So let's try it. Let's bring in this version as well. So highlight that, add it in my CC library as a graphic, minimize that, and it's already right over here. So I wonder if I can just drag that right on top of that and it'll replace it. Nope. So let's bring it down just like 40% right off the bat. Let's bring this down to, let's say, 80% of that. And I don't think there's enough contrast in that. Oh, and who did you do that interactive flipbook thing? Oh, I think maybe you're asking like, how did I do that? Which I can show that right now. That was something I did like a little earlier on the stream. So yeah. Let me see if I look on Adobe stock really fast, see if I can find some like recycling items that I can just toss in there, and then we can go ahead and export this and make another flipbook really fast. Because that was something honestly I learned how to do right before the stream. So yeah. Let me find the Adobe stock page. So scroll down, we don't want like the stocks, which seems to be doing pretty well. Let's go into like their stock photos. And images. Oh, this is a very interesting photo or illustration. And let's just type in recycle items. And maybe they just have a lot of stuff on standby. You know, honestly, I'm not seeing anything like very quickly that stands out to me. There's a lot of these that could work. That's just paper too. So I really want to make sure that like the ones I'm using actually make sense too. Laura's saying hi everyone. Hi Laura, thanks for joining. Which you might be like, I thought we were making a booklet. Why are we looking in Adobe stock? And that's a good question. It's because this booklet we're making for the Gasparilla Music Festival, which I know I just kind of scrolled through it very fast. The page we're working on right now is the recycling section. And so right in here they just have like a big yes and no of like what you can and cannot recycle. So I'm looking on like Adobe stock to find some illustrations that could work for that. Because I didn't want to have to remake all these little illustrations myself. See, it would be nice if I just had one like icon set that just has everything I need in it. And then I can, hopefully that they're vectors, and then I can just kind of drop it in like the yes and no section and delete the ones I don't want. That would be ideal, and I know that they have that. But I'm also probably not using like the right keywords to search, because I'm just searching like recycle items. Honestly, I'm going to look at this next page. If I don't see it, then I'll jump back. This could work. Any thoughts? Like from anyone? Which to show, like, I'm basing off of this page from last year's festival, which basically just says yes and no. So it doesn't have to be like anything crazy, but I totally think that can work. Which, let me refresh the stream over here, because this looks odd. Hopefully quality's still good. Let me make sure we're still good on this end. And yeah, we still look like we're pretty good. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and download a preview, or what files is this? So it's an AI file, which is dope. So that's Illustrator, it's vector. And then, at first glance, there's several items I can really use, like these cans and bottles, the food. I'm gonna go and download a preview for right now and just see if it works before I actually do it. Maybe try one more time, recycle icon set. So that's tongue. Yeah, I'll do that. Maybe that's better, like keywords to search. Yeah, I appreciate the help too. Thank you. Oh, there's so many right there too. Which the ones, I think these ones right now work better than those. Yeah, these ones. I was about to say, hopefully I didn't lose it. So I'm just gonna open that file, which you couldn't really see, but it's an Illustrator file, which is nice. So it's good to be able to download it and preview it ahead of time. Are these, hopefully they're just grouped. Object ungroup. See, sometimes they do that, it's an AI file, but it's like not really vector. That's why I always download like a preview ahead of time. Because it can be very frustrating, you know, if you actually like license it or pay for it, and then you realize it's like these aren't individual. This is all like just one flattened thing. So that's annoying. I'm very glad I previewed that instead of just getting it. And Tongue saying, you're right, it's more a clear image for kids. Oh, I totally agree. If you see all like banana peel in color, like all that stuff. But yeah, it's just frustrating that those, oh, that those aren't really like vector assets. It's maybe just like a JPEG saved in a vector file or something. So yeah, let me glance in here really fast again, and then I'll go back, because I know you guys aren't here to watch Adobe stock. At least I don't think so, I don't know. Which is a side note too, if there's any streams and like software you're looking for, just let me know. Oop, didn't mean to do that, but it might be where I want it. And this kind of looks like it's the same family as the other one. Yeah, let me know if there's any programs or stuff that you want to see based off like Adobe software. I know a little while back I did Adobe Dimension, which is fun. I was doing InDesign a lot for this project, and in the past I've been doing a lot of Adobe XD. And then, well, maybe I'm just mistaken here. I hate to license it and then realize it's a flat image like this, but it could just be flat like this because it's a preview. Do I dare? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to license this one. Hopefully I don't waste it. Let me just find the one I had a minute ago, which was this one. Because I do gotta wrap up the stream kinda soon-ish. So you probably see my eyes going back and forth. I'm like searching all these stock photos like as fast as possible. Oh, Tongue saying I never tried XD in Dimension. So Dimension is a little trickier. It's like good for 3D modeling and for like trying to like make your own mock-ups. XD is awesome for interactive designs like prototyping. So you know what? Sorry to make a search. Oh, there it was. I'm hesitant to do this because I have 11 total credits left. But, you know, for the sake of discovery, I'm going to do it. And hopefully these are individual assets and not just a flat image. So I license it. Hopefully I don't regret it. I don't have too many of those. Okay, come on. Please be like individual vectors. Don't be like just a flattened image like the preview was. Alright, if anyone has any bets too, I bet it's going to be a flattened image. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, it's cool. So that's a future note for myself and for everyone else. When you download the preview, it's different. You know, like it's different than the actual one you're licensing from Adobe stock. Because now I can actually interact with these individual ones. So that's exactly what I want. Cool. I'm glad I took that chance there. And we licensed it, so now we can, you know, legally use these. Even though it's only for like the book of this, I figured it's better to do it. But I guess now we know that. I guess. So that's good to know. So I'm jumping around here. I'm trying to figure out... Oh yeah, this is Illustrator and assets. Well, I'm also working on InDesign. So I'll just add these ones individually into my CC library right here. Tongue said, huh? I'm curious what you're questioning about, like what worked. Maybe it was about this actually being individual ones. But if you have like a question or something, yeah, let me know. Because honestly, I'm just kind of thinking out loud as I do this. Yeah, I'm just adding these all into like the CC library. And I'm not going to add all of them, I just want to add like the ones that I want. Oop. Sure, have all of that. Go to select the graphic. So yeah, I got those elements from this. Now let me minimize this stuff. So we're back in InDesign. You can see the icon up there. And let me just copy that, minimize this, and maybe I just paste it over here. Because maybe I want to do the designing actually in Illustrator. Oh, he's saying, oh, sorry, in Turkish, ha means different. The icon set was not roster image, and I felt relaxed. That's why. Oh, okay, cool, yeah. In, like, English, like, huh is, like, question, like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, that's kind of the way, like, huh? Like, I don't get it. Oh, that's interesting, like, I didn't know that. But no, yeah, I thought it was going to be rostered, too, but I figured, you know, maybe that was just because it was a preview, and I guess I was right. Yeah, I'm just going to use the text that they used on last year's festival. Maybe there's a way to bring in that one shape. don't know, like the recycling logo. It's just a random idea. And maybe I go and bring down that like a lot. That's almost too much. Maybe I do half of that. I think even, yeah, just having that as like a subtle background element could be fun. Let me just lock that for right now. So yeah, now I have all these like icons which actually dropped in here. And honestly, if I'm mixing up which ones would go where, please just let me know and be like, no, that banana peel is definitely recyclable. Which I know that one's not, but yeah, if you see something. Because I remember when I did attend the festival, they did have a bunch of these signs printed. Ooh, actually I have a photo of it. They didn't have these signs, they had other signs, like physical ones in front of the trash cans. So let me find it for a second. Because it was nice, since I actually attended this festival, I got to go and take my own photography of like different stuff they had. So yeah, this is what they had. They had compost, recycling, everything else. So it's very different than what's in the booklet. But these ones are just printed and hung up in front of the trash cans, just to make it as clear as possible. But you can see, so they mixed up where it says plastic wine cups, they had to cross out. And it wasn't just this sign, it was all of the signs across the entire festival. Because I remember just seeing that, because as a graphic designer, I'm always looking at all these different signs and how they do everything. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. But it's because maybe like the graphic designer may not know exactly, think, oh yeah, plastic cup, that's recycling. But there's probably someone there at the festival who's like, no, you really can't do that. So I guess a point to take away from that is, you know, if you're dealing with something that you're not comfortable with or you don't know very well, then, you know, talk to someone who does. Go and interview your audience. Just be like, hey, you know, this one friend of mine who's like recycles everything, you know, what, can I do this or no? You can see how great Adobe Stock is as a resource, and there's other sites too. But just like, rather than having to design all of these myself, like that's not, like, no one's gonna care about these unless they look terrible. That's what I've learned, you know. Especially like non-designers. They'll be like, okay, yeah, newspaper, cool. I didn't think, you know, I thought I could recycle that. But they don't care about like the highlights or the little person on it, unless it was something ridiculous. I'm just rotating them slightly just to, I don't know, help it feel a little more real. Which it lost some of the lines when I just copied that. So let me go back over here. Just want to highlight all of it. Now I'll copy it. And I should have all those different like lines in there. Paste it back in here. Work on this recycling page. Boom, let me scale that down. Just keep scaling it down. Boom. Oh, Taj was saying, sorry, I was gone. I had to eat lunch. No worries. Man, not at all. In a minute, I'm going to be hopping offline anyways and eating some food. like a late lunch. Right now where I am, it's about to turn 3 p.m. So yeah, I'm curious where you guys are all tuned in from too. Yeah, let us know what you're eating, Taj. If there's anything good. I'm just gonna make a separate folder in here for, just call it like recycle. Oh, I already have one. Yeah, I have one right here. Cool. So let's just save that one. And let's see if there's at least maybe like 2 more I can add in here. And welcome if anyone's just joining too. I know you're probably just diving in and you're like, okay, cool, recycling stuff, whatever. Yeah, which there's not any more here. And I don't want to put anything that's wrong. So maybe I just find a way to space these out in a better way. Portugal here, Istanbul here. Oh, cool. What time is it for you guys? Right now I got it's like 5 minutes until 3 p.m. for me here. Which I got this map behind me too. I wonder if you guys can see where you're at. Like for me, you can tell I'm in Florida, so it's like right here. But I'm thinking Portugal, that's below us. Alright, Portugal's over here. Yeah, there it is. Istanbul. I'm not sure where that is too, to be honest. But no, it's great to have you guys here. It's dope. So actually, I'm gonna unlock some of this because I had a layer below it. I'm gonna highlight it all, go Command G, and then I'm gonna select this little plus and add that graphic. Almost 20. So I'm guessing like military time. So that's what, like 10 p.m. Milano here. Yeah, we got a lot of people from all over the world. That's always really cool to see. So I'm going back in InDesign, and yeah, I'm gonna try to drop this in that little spot right here. So let's go File, Place, but let's exit out of that because I actually don't want that. I want to go to my CC library and drag this in. Cool. Nice. So let's view it without the guidelines. So display, screen mode. Let's go to presentation. Let's take a step back, look at it. Let me know if you guys have any feedback as well. Maybe I should just get rid of that crumpled up piece of paper. And just that way it feels a little more balanced where I'm not really blocking the GMF that much. So I'm going to do that. This I think could be a little smaller still. And then maybe I add like a music note on the side. So yeah, that's what, I don't know, that's just how my brain works. Let me know if you guys know something else. Tosh says, it's nice to see what goes behind the scenes when making a booklet for an event. Yeah, no, definitely. Because honestly, a lot of this stuff, I haven't really been able to see people do it unless it was like Adobe Live or something else where like people will go through and explain their process. But even when they're doing that, they're not actually a lot of times doing like a real one. They end up doing ones that they planned ahead of time and like they know the beginning and the end. Where with this, I'm just trying to grow that case study I had in my portfolio. So it's like I don't really know the end result. I think it's better to have that open space. And then let me go here, object transform scale. Let's try that to like 90% of what it was. Let's do that again because I don't think that was enough. Let's go 90% of what it was. Let's zoom in on it and let's see if we can kind of have it lock up with that. Oh, and Tosh had some soup. Nice. Let's just do that a little bit. And then, yeah, we have this space right here. That's why I'm thinking that could be a good spot for, like, that treble clef hook thing I have. Which is this one. But actually, I'm going to take it from one of these other pages. And let's just paste it. Oop. And let's make sure I'm dragging that shape. And yeah, maybe we just use it just kind of like help fill in that gap over there. Let's do it 120% of what it currently is. And yeah, and let's preview this page again. Let's see if we notice anything else. So let me know if you guys do see something. Screen mode, presentation, boom. Let's look at it. Cool, I think it's definitely coming together. Maybe that treble clef on the right could be treble clef dash hook on the right could be a little bigger. I think the GMF with this looks good. Maybe I shift it over slightly. I think this works. I think I'm happy with that. And I think the last minute decision to add the GMF inside there works well to help fill the stuff. Oh, that pizza. Oh, he's throwing it up. It's got mushrooms on it. He's asking which one on the booklet. Yeah, Taj is saying, you don't like some mushrooms on your pizza? Which, I guess I don't really either. It's kind of funny that they wouldn't use like pepperoni or like something much more common. I mean, like, I'd eat mushrooms on my pizza, but I'm not like, oh yeah, give me mushrooms, you know? Are you guys like pineapple on pizza? 'Cause I know it's like a huge thing. I don't want to get into those cliche debates, but you know, and I'm a fan of it. Cool. And you know, I think I'm in a pretty good place here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look over this again. We're gonna export it. Then I'm gonna show you guys how I did it as like a flip book. I'm gonna update my portfolio, and then we'll probably call it a day. Todd's saying, no, it's how the mushrooms are placed and how many they are. Oh, yeah, you're right, though. He's talking about these mushrooms. Oh. He's talking about, like, these mushrooms on this pizza right here. This piece of pizza. And Tong's saying he loves mushrooms, actually. But, yeah, but I do agree. Those are, like, big ones. I can imagine, like, taking a bite of the pizza, and every time you do, you have this giant mushroom there. And so, hopefully they're, like, sauteed or something fun. But if they're just like raw mushrooms, I can just imagine just like eating like cardboard or something. Dang. So cool. Yeah, so let's go to the top, click through it. And yeah, let's look at it. Let me know if you guys have any last minute edits or decisions or anything. So we have the cover, the guide to the fest. Then we go into this pages. Then we have these. Oh, I need to do something with the photography. That was something we talked about a lot. And Tunk had some great advice there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that today. I want to mess with the frames, and then also if I can incorporate illustrations, I think that's honestly a great idea. And the way like that case study you showed me did it is like brilliant. So yeah, we'll go in there. This is a poster that would get filled in by whoever the artist is. We have the sponsors. We have the schedule. We have the map. Still not crazy about the illustrations around it, like these ones. Not sure what to do yet. And this one, this is a weird space here. I think the 3D map is better, but I should push it further with colors and make it more like, you know, interactive, because it's like the kids zone. It should be fun. I think this looks fine. This one we just did. Looks pretty good. I think these illustrations help a lot. Those are the sponsor logos. I'm not about to start resizing all those, because that's just going to be a nightmare, and no one wants to see that, because that's like tedious work. But yeah, overall I think we're in a pretty dope spot. So I'm going to go File, Save. Just make sure I do that. And then I'm going to go File and then Export. And let's create a new file. So the last one I did was Export 6. Let's just call it Export 5. Or Export 4. Let's call it Export 5. So click Save. I'll show it in here. A lot of times maybe on highest quality. The way I usually do it, especially if it's going to be shown online, I'll go to small file size. And then when it goes to compression, I make sure I go to image quality and click those to max. So that'll make sure like my file size isn't like anything insane, but I'll still have really good quality of photography. It'll be like the highest it can be. So export. Sometimes you see like a little loading thing. And Todd's saying, wow, I love it. Well, thank you. No, I appreciate you guys sticking with me along the way too. That helps. You guys have had some really great feedback, to be honest. So I'm going to minimize InDesign now. Let's go back to that one website I found before all of this, which is FlipSnack. And nope, I don't want a folder. I want to go and upload PDF. So you're about to see what happens with this. And Tung says, I want to hear your opinions about my last jam logo design if you have time. Yeah, I may not today, but I know later this week I'm going to be on Discord. Like starting tomorrow through Friday, I'm going to be on Discord like a lot. So if you want to reach out to me over there, Tung, I'd be happy to whenever I get time. And then, yeah, so I'm uploading that flip book. Or I'm uploading this like booklet I did to this site. It's thinking. Oh, never mind, I gotta click next. Cool, and now it's thinking. And Taj asking, can you share the link? Now, are you asking me for the link, or are you asking Tunk for the link to his logo design? So yeah, I don't know, just clarify there. Oh, he's saying deal. Cool. So yeah, now you can see how the book actually like flips through, which is really fun. So I'm just gonna click next. Behind my photo right here, there's a button that says publish, so I'm clicking that. I have to choose a field. Let's just choose marketing, and let's just click publish. And now it's gonna preview it, which I think was good. And right here, embed. So I want this code. I can tell it any custom dimensions I want. Tell it to start from page 1. Cool. So I copied that. I'm gonna minimize this site. The website that you are on right now. Can you share the link? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just a sec. No worries. And honestly, this is, I don't know for sure like if there's better options, but this is one I just found like right before the live stream. Because I know there's ways of doing this, but I don't know, this one just works for me. So I have this copied. I'm going to minimize that. Let's go into Behance and kind of click on that case study. So here's this project. This was the older one we did. I'm going to go and edit that embed code. And let's, well, actually, let me just show you how to do it, so in case anyone's viewing for the first time. So when you find a spot right here, you want to look for that. And then you can paste that embed code into there. Let me make sure stream is still good on this corner. And yeah, so then now this inside this whole case study, this should be here. Let me click save. And so now if you go jump over to my page, you should be able to see it. But let's preview it together. So this project we're working on, here's the branding I did for this music festival. And I had like the word mark, you know, the challenge solution, the logo system. Here's the other symbols. I'm going to go and add more symbols. Why do you use the flipbook on the Behance? It doesn't let, or how do you use the flipbook on the Behance? It doesn't let me. I don't know, just this process I was just showing, like, this is the way it seemed to work for me. I would say, so then question, Antonio, is it a problem whenever you upload your PDF to the flipbook, or is it a problem when you try to put the flipbook in your Behance page? So I think if you can answer that, then that'll help me kind of focus what my answer would be. But yeah, I try to break down the typography and colors. So you can see I have the booklet right here. Let's just skip past it really quickly and show all the mock-ups. So if you don't want to go to the flipbook, oh well. But if you do, then you can just stop right here and then click through it. And you can see these pages we just built. And honestly, it's like a smaller part of this whole case study, but I think it's these tiny elements that really help someone actually look at your portfolio and be like, wow, they went that extra mile and, you know, had this booklet in here rather than just having like the cover mocked up. Because then you solve all these other problems, like how do I do the recycling? How do I, you know, like do this recycling logo that you wouldn't normally see, or like handle the text or build the map? Because these are all like different elements of this, and it's cool to, yeah, just be able to see how far I can take it. But you know, I'm cool with that for now. I'm gonna click save. I think it's on there. And he says when I try to put the link on Behance, it doesn't let me. So then, question, Antonio, are you? So here's Flipbook. When you do it, are you? This is kind of the page it gives you. You want to make sure that you're using the embed code. And then I was able to just copy this right here, and then whenever you go into Behance, you just gotta make sure you drop it in this one to embed it. So to be honest, without other than those steps, I don't know much about this program at all. So I would say if that doesn't work, I'm not sure what the best solution is. I would recommend looking up another way to embed a file without having to use like Flipsnack. But yeah, honestly that's the most advice I can really tell you at the moment. But yeah, just side notes, because I'm going to go and wrap this stuff up for now. I appreciate everyone tuning in. This is going to be the last part for this booklet. You can find 1, 2, and 3 on my actual Behance page if you go under videos. So part 1, keep in mind if you're wanting to know how to really set up your InDesign file, that's where I went over like the page numbers and how to do all that stuff. Oh, and Antonio's saying, oh yeah, thanks, I was not using that code. So yeah, you want to make sure you use the embed code, because that's going to have it just be like linked in there rather than having like the overall like thing. And no problem, Antonio. If you have any other questions, feel free to send me a message or anything. But yeah, if you want to look at that case study where I'm going to be expanding on, it's probably going to grow a lot. It's this project right here. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's tuning in. I figured this is a good time to wrap it up. I appreciate all of you. There's a lot of people who've stuck around a lot of the way, and it's really cool to be able to have you guys like Taj, Antonio, Tunk. Let me scroll through here, see all the people I'm missing. There's Adele. Who else did we have? Laura. Donna. There's Jack Watson. There's been a lot of people. I know some of you guys have been with me since like the beginning of this stream, so it's really dope. And no, thank you very much, everyone. Like, it's really cool to be able to like show my process and be able to get feedback from actual other designers, and then just be able to spend this time pushing this case study even further. Because I could have just left it where I'm only showing a mock-up of the cover of that booklet, but to be able to spend the time and actually design all of the pages for that is really cool. By the way, thanks for saying my name right. No problem. I was hoping I was saying that right, so that's dope. But yeah, thank you, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and switch to another title screen and then fade out and call it a day. But I hope you guys are doing well. I'll be live next weekend on Saturday and Sunday at the same time. So I appreciate you all. Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye.